Hello, 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 hello. Everybody looking good tonight. My only hands account. And with me, we have Janet from another planet. Everybody looking
Hello.
good tonight. Somebody's got a
everyone.
YouTube open. And with me, we have Janet. Lady, do you have your YouTube open?
It's
Okay.
not me this time.
It's all right. It's all right. Giggle water. Yes, we need giggle water. All right, my name is Bruce, and with me is Janet from another planet and Lady One Gaming. Lady One Gaming is the culprit for he's the perpetrator that gave us the request for us to watch the 1976 gangster musical classic, BUGSY Malone. How are you two doing tonight?
Excellent.
Good. I really like this movie.
I can tell. We heard it last night. You like there's just something about a movie, like whenever you know when Janet likes a film, because she gets into it, she's getting into the numbers, she's getting into the scenes, she's laughing at like the jokes, and then whenever there's something going on, it's like, wait, what? And then you hear her crying, it's like, so what's going on? What's going on over there? What's going on? But that's just my friend Janet from another planet. She does love to be she loves to use all her emotions at films, and it's just a joy to watch movies with her. If you guys were not there Sunday night, I know this sounds like a lame thing to do, but if you are a part of this channel is in the chat, or if you do give suggestions, requests, super chats, etc., if you do any of those things and you're not part of the Discord, I want you to join the Discord today. It's free. And we do have an alternate location should Discord just go tits up and just absolutely batshit insane, as it will do. I'm clicking through everybody's stuff in chat here. I'll be saying their names here in a bit, but I just got to get this little ad read out of the way because I do want you to join the Discord. I do want to see you on Sunday nights. If you want to watch a movie with us, watch a movie. I'm not gonna ask you, like, hey, give me your kidney. No. This is something you can do from the safety of your home. Appreciate everybody being through here tonight.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Because without you, we wouldn't have a show.
Exactly.
And thank you, Lady, for picking such a cute movie. It was really, really good.
Wait it and let me hop in.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, sir. You're absolutely welcome. Kronos, absolutely. If you want to lurk, please go ahead. 6 Nation 31 Kings first in the chat today. 20 dwarves took turns doing handstands on the carpet. Oops, wrong Bugsy. Then we have Flady join in, and the Crafting Gamer. Hello, sir. How are you tonight? Kronos, how you doing, sir? And that's our Emperor 1G. Hello, how are you today, sir? Yeah, she should be. Janet, you have some 6-sided dice?
Yeah, in my bag. I had to dig them out.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I got mine right here.
On my chest.
I can't roll crap for the crap. That's a 4 and a 1 if you can't see it. All right. So, Lady, you are the man in the man of the hour that helped us select this movie. This is a seminal favorite of your household, is it not?
Yeah, we weren't a very tight-knit family, but there were 6 of us, a lot of arguments, confusion, but we had, I would say, probably 20 to 30 movies that were like core. We watched them multiple times every year, and this was one of them. This was from, I would say, 1980 to almost 1990, probably like 89. We would watch it at least once a year, if not 2 to 4 times. Either we would put in the VHS tape, or if it came on Prism, because that's everyone else got HBO. My dad got Prism.
I've never heard of Prism.
It was basically HBO, but the bulk of it was sports.
I can see why a man would want that. I can clearly see why a man would want that.
Yeah, like I was watching lacrosse, before it was even popular because it was free. We would get the hockey.
Lady's looking swanky. Janet, you're in a cat's pajamas. Hello, Mr.
Is that a good compliment? I've never heard that before.
You're the bee's knees. You're the cat's
Oh,
pajamas.
the bee's knees. I've heard that before. Thank you. Oh, hi, Boosh. Thank you for stopping in. Hi, Travis.
Janet and I had never seen this movie before, so we were kind of trying to view the trailer a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And StreamYards just booted me out while I was trying to stream the trailer. You know, hey, we're using fair use. I'm knocked out. I don't hear my panel. I have to tab through what's going on. I've been booted out of StreamYards. Oops, something went wrong. And that happens to me a lot. Apparently there's a person over there on the other end that just kind of he hits the button, cancel or boot Bruce or whatever it is. But that happens. I accept it. But I came back. And tonight we're going to talk about this movie. Mm-hmm. This movie is a 1976 film. The timing of it is interesting because this is a movie about gangsters. Not normal gangsters, they're kids. And Jodie Foster is in this movie. And it came out a few months later after the classic, the De Niro classic, Taxi Driver.
Yep. One thing I want to add, though, real quick, is that Scott Baio was 16 when this movie came out. And everyone else, the fat guy, what's his name? Fat something?
Fat Slam?
Yeah, Fat Sam and the love interest for Scott Baio and Jodie Foster were 14.
Well, I'm looking at the people in this film. They don't look like they're even in their mid-teens. Mm-hmm. Scott Baio looks 14 because he's got that thin. You know when you look at like a high school kid and you're like, "Hey man, you're cool, but don't be giving me that side eye because I'll hit you so hard your mom's gonna hurt." Because like they're so skinny, they're gonna zoom right back into the mama. And like you know this, and like my uncle demonstrated this a lot of times. Like they beat the hell out of me if I was being an idiot when I was a slim little kid.
He was baby faced. He's still baby faced.
Well, he's still baby faced, but his shoulders filled out. You know, I mean, you know what a man comes out of a boy's body. You know, when they hit that growth spurt, they get that height, and then they get the breadth.
Because he didn't even sound like his voice had changed. You know what I mean? Yet he hadn't like gone through puberty.
Yeah, and I don't want to make that like a sticking point or a negativity piece because it's not. Scott Baio was such a charming young man in this movie. I didn't realize it was Chachi. I was an hour through this movie, and a part of me said, and in a few years, this young man will be on Happy Days. And I thought, oh, crap, he's fucking Joni. And I like, wait, hold on. This little kid. And then it clicked for me, and it doesn't really matter because like you've got Jodie Foster in this film too, looking very super young, like so super young. We don't talk about her except in the context of being a child in this film. Like with the little bumps she had in Taxi Driver, where like you know what's going on, and you see people getting in the cab with her, and you just want to beat the shit out of them. You just you just want to like you want to break your hand on their face, because like what was going on in Taxi Driver is absolutely it's not just a crime, it's a moral fucking duty of anybody with a pulse to excise that from humanity. Mm-hmm. Touch kids with kids, you need to be gone.
That's why I was so happy when I watched this movie, because it was so childlike. I mean, the cars, the pedal cars, the weapons that shoot dough and whipped cream, just all of that, and the drinks. You could tell there were different colors, like Kool-Aid. There was green and orange and red. I just loved it. I just thought it was so refreshing, and I'd never seen it. I've never even heard of it. When you said Bugsy Malone, I was thinking like a 1950s detective show or something, something like that.
He says, "We're gonna watch Bugsy Malone, okay?" And I'm thinking, what the fuck are you doing to me? I don't want to watch Warren Beatty. I already saw Deliverance, which that's on the schedule for next year. But like, I'm telling you, like, when I saw the trailers for this, part of it clicked because I remember this being on HBO. I remember this, but I'd never watched it because my mom said that's a stupid movie. Well, if you look at it as an adult, you're going to make fun of it. It's just like if you look at, it doesn't matter what sex the child is, but if they're playing with My Little Pony, you probably could burn the child and not lose much. I know that's terrible. I know that's
Hey,
terrible.
I played with trucks and GI Joe and
And
little
look how
army
bad it turned out.
guys, and I'm a
Look how-
girl, so boys could still play with Barbie and My Little Pony. That doesn't mean they're not going to be men when they grow up. Maybe they had a sister, you know. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't think that the toys that you played with
The only
too much
time
were a judge.
if you were, I'm going to be completely judgmental here. I'm an ISTJ, and I'm 90% judgmental on my fucking on my MD on that. But I'm going to tell you that like my judgment side says the only time a boy should ever play with Barbies is whenever his GI Joe's on leave. That's it.
But see, that's what I did. I had Barbie, but she had boyfriend was GI Joe, the one with the real hair on it too. You know, the real buzz cut on my GI Joe.
Did you have
I
the
wish I still had him.
Did you have the 60s GI Joe that had the multi joints? Like they were like you could dress them up.
He had clothes. I got him. My mom bought him for me at like a vintage rummage sale or something, and I wanted him so bad. And I said I wanted him because I wanted a boyfriend for my Barbie, because I had Barbie and Skipper, and I had a camper and all that stuff. But I would go out hunting and and stuff like that with mine. I didn't have Barbie Dream House stuff like that. I had more outdoorsy. I had a horse. That kind of stuff with mine.
I had a sailor like that, and I had a ranger. At the time, it was the uniform for ranger. I think that was a custom suit that one of my friends' mothers had made. Because I liked fire when I was a kid, and they thought I was going to be a det cord child.
A pyromaniac.
Yeah, seriously. Like, do not let Bruce have the matches.
I think all boys that I knew when I was young liked fire. They wanted to set fires and burn stuff. And shoot it with their BB guns.
Yeah, BB guns, firecrackers. Like, I don't mind the 3.5 inch GI Joe figs, but when I talk about GI Joes and Barbies, I'm talking about the taller, like 7-8 inch tall ones that are to scale with Barbie. And it was harder to find those in the mid 80s, but if you know what, Barbie became a hell of an accessory for He-Man because Tila was such a letdown. I'm sorry. Tila on the cartoon rocked, and I mean, that ruined me for the rest of my life. I love Gingers, but holy shit. Like, if you put a He-Man and a Barbie next to each other, like, you're thinking, hey, look, it's Venice Beach.
My He-Man was short. The one my mom got me. I mean,
nobody gives a shit if you're short, if you're peeling someone's face off. If you're able to like military press a dude or beat the shit out of him ground and pound, nobody cares if you're 5'3". Back to the movie.
Sorry.
It's okay. We this is one of the perks of our channel. You get
we should ask Blady why he chose this movie for us to watch.
Couple reasons. One, I felt that like I had said when I think we were talking after we watched it for a while last night. I was more disappointed than used to that for me, Blood of Dracula didn't hold up as well as my memories of it. And I'm like, I got to get something wholesome in here. And wholesome is something we're missing in our society, period. This is a different time, different concept. People had different notions. And I've tried to get other people to watch it over the years. When I got out of the service, a lot of my friends that, didn't join, they started families and whatnot. I would be the babysitter and I would put this on, and, parents and kids alike are like, what is this? I'm like, oh, this was a favorite of ours. And they're like, yeah, no, get this off. And I've always liked it. I think I think it holds up over time. However, for me, it's different. Like it's a musical, so that you can't really get lost in the story. At least I can't, because it's not believable. It's a musical. Two, I can't watch it as an adult. When I watch it, I'm basically watching my 6 and 7 year old self watching it. On the floor. Mom and dad are on the couch, and me, my brother, and two sisters, we're fighting over the last spot on the couch because nobody wants to sit on a love seat. You're too close to me. You're blocking my view, and it just takes me back to a better time. You know, and I just wanted to share it. Like the Explorers movie. Once again,
Mhm.
it's to me that's how you know something. If you can watch it 20, 30 years later and still have it hold up to that childhood memory, either it's a piece of art for you, or it really is a superior product. You know, um, I don't
But
think anything's been attempted like this again. And to be honest, I don't think it should. Maybe somebody should do something that's inspired by it, but I don't want to see a remake. I'm not a fan of that anyway.
No,
You
I
know,
think they should I would put this out
just
again.
reissue. Just put
Yeah,
it in theaters.
just repackage
that
it
absolutely.
and
Reissue,
put it out
repackage it.
as like a blast from the past or whatever, and have Jodie Foster and Scott Baio go out and promote it and stuff. I just think it would be great. I mean, it's a refreshing way to bring kids into the theater, young kids, and let them think like kids. And the message at the end, like I was talking about last night, was just, I just loved it. I just loved the whole concept of it, taking something old and making it new again, and I think kids would like it, even if they just did it on pay-per-view or something like that. uh, I don't know. I think if they could make some type of an event out of it, that it would be I think a lot of kids would want to see it, and I think other kids would, like I said, I think it would be a really good costumes for them on Halloween too. The gangster outfits, I think it would be adorable, and I think
Yeah.
kids would
or
watch
or
it.
a drive through.
Hmm.
Load up a couple trucks with kids. Let them watch, let them relax.
Hmm. I think so.
I
I think it would be very successful.
yeah. This whenever I'm watching movies that were aimed at children, I can't really grade them on the same scale as of today. I have to kind of remind myself of what I was like when I was 9, and
Right.
Well, I'm glad I don't have to do that because I'm a grown woman and I thought it was wonderful. I
well,
probably would have loved it even more if I was a kid, if I got to watch it when I was a little kid. But I loved it. I could see it through my kids' eyes in myself, and take the childlike quality out of it and enjoy it for that. I mean, I just thought the cars were the freaking cool. The
yeah,
whole concept, and the fact that this writer, wasn't he the director
yeah,
too? Okay, and he
Yes.
wrote this script because he wanted to bring to life some of the stories that he would tell his 4 kids and embellish them and stuff and change them around for his children, So he'd make up stories and tell them. And the fact that he wrote this one because he wanted to do something he thought was in a great era that he really liked. And I just love the fact that the details on the costumes and the sets and everything, that down to the bar, the fat guy, what's his name again? I'm sorry.
That's Sam.
Fat Sam's bar, his little speakeasy, and the detail through the tables and the beautiful bar, the wooden mahogany bar with the mirrors in the back, and it
they
was just awesome. I mean, he
they must
did
have
do a
came
lot.
across. They
Mhm.
literally must have came across a treasure trove of costumes from Fox and Paramount Pictures. They must have just like smoothed the right person. And I'm going to explain to you why I'm saying this. This movie was made for less than $1 million. Okay, I need to repeat that. Remember, there's 70 people 70 to 90 people in the final scenes of the movie in costume. You have the cars, you have all of the props, you have the Hollywood set, you have the location, you have catering. For less than $1 million, this movie was made.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to think about that for a moment, because if you made it in today's dollars, Bruce is thinking this would cost about 12 to 20 million
Mm-hmm.
in
At least.
2023. And okay,
I
fine.
was thinking that they maybe got costumes from, old closets and stuff.
That's what I think.
Because, like what was what was that little girl singer and dancer that was Shirley Temple? And there was a couple others, the little gang, Spanky Gang, and they used to make tons of movies with kids. The group from Orphan Annie,
Flory Duggar played Blousy Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Blousy Brown is the one that you're thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
She like they had to have like troves and treasure chests of old costumes from way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And these things, like this movie cost less. I need to repeat that this movie cost less than $1 million, and it looked like gold. It really did. Once we got a working copy of it going, thank you YouTube for having that as a free movie. Whatever channel you are, appreciate you. I've got to say that this was made for less than $1 million. This entire movie looked like gold. And then the movie made a profit at hold on, let me pull up the figure here just a second. It made $2.8 million.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy.
Oh, and that was in the 1970.
1976.
1976. So that was a lot of money back then.
Huge.
To make that amount of money. Mm-hmm.
When I have my first recollection, I believe the ticket for us to go see Close Encounters was $1 for mom and dad, because they saw a matinee. Between the ticket price of $1 total, watching my dad pull $1 out of his wallet, and then the radar scene in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I remember that being 2 years old. Mm-hmm. Movies were cheap back then. Life was a lot better back then, I'll just say.
My mom used to drop us off. I don't remember when it was. I'd have to sit down and think about that. But I remember my mom wanting to get rid of us on Saturday. And she would just take us and drop us off at the theater on the Air Force Base. And it cost us $0.25 to go to the movies. Yeah. And she'd give us like $2 a piece so we could buy candy and popcorn and drinks, because she knew we were going to spend half our time at the at the concession stand. No. Okay. At the concession stand buying snacks, because we our dessert was like a piece of pineapple on a piece of lettuce with cottage cheese on it, things like that. So we didn't get popcorn and ice cream and like whatever the other candies was. We didn't get a lot of that. So we were really special if we were really good every once a month get to dropped off at the movie theater. So if there was a movie that that my mom thought was appropriate.
Like, I was really surprised this movie was as high rated as it was when I started watching it, because at first I was watching it like an adult, and I'm like, oh God, I gotta watch this. And then I thought, like, well, Bruce, just pretend you're 9.
Mm-hmm.
Pretend you're 9, and this is one of the girls on the bus that used to crush on. Although there opens up that yearbook. Okay, so I was able to enjoy this movie properly, because I don't think this movie would have been marketed to adults. It was given a G rating. So, an adult would have to watch it. And there was some adult humor in there. Nothing else was really quote-unquote adult, except for, like, the shooting the stuff at people. But when you realize they're just getting, like, cream pied, and not in an adult sense cream pied, but, like, you get a cream pie to the face, the type of cream pie you used to do to your buddy when you were, like, 7. That creme de la creme. Fucking wholesome movie if there ever was one. And for Jodie Foster, good on her agent for scouting her this movie and getting her this after the smut that she was in. And I want to say that a Taxi Driver. Do I love the movie Taxi Driver? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Bruce that I actually get to like be an adult and watch it. This movie here, I have to retard some things like, no, don't be an old crotchety old man. You're not 48 years old battling, depression and, friend suicide and having ease of bullets available. No. You're your kid again. You're happy. You watched fucking Fox and the Hound last weekend. It's good. Life is great.
Yeah. Did this movie win any awards? Was it nominated for anything? Like best screenplay or something?
I didn't. I don't think so.
Do you know, Flady, if it did?
I don't think so. I didn't really look that up, but
Cannes Film Festival, where it competed for the Palme d'Or. Okay, now that's the highest prize awarded at Cannes.
See,
and it was in the running for that. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's pretty good. That means it at least podiumed. And in 76, hey guys, remember the other movie that came out in 76, 77? All right.
Which one?
There was a couple that were nice. I like The Sorcerer. God bless you, William Friedkin. You magnificent bastard, you.
Didn't we watch that one?
We did. And then that came out. That came out in 77 up against Star Wars. So, I mean, there is that, Sorry, guys. Mm-hmm. Star Wars is out. There's no more oxygen left at theaters. It's getting all the oxygen. And by oxygen, I mean all of it. I don't think this movie got any other awards, but I'll just read. It got 8 nominations at the British Academy Film Awards, including Best Film, and won 3 of them. Best Supporting Actress, Most Promising Newcomer to Leading Film Roles for Jodie Foster, and Best Screenplay for director Alan Parker. The film also
the screenplay was really, really good.
For the Golden Globes, and 34th Golden Globes, which I don't really watch award shows nowadays because they have things like DEI and diversity bullshit. And really, whoever came up with that idea, you're garbage. You are. Mm-hmm. Meritocracy is the only way. And the Golden Globes back then weren't so biased. They gave this movie 3 nominations, including Best Motion Picture for Musical or Comedy. And so that is pretty high praise. This was also nominated, I should say that in 2008, just 15 years ago, Empire ranked it 353rd on their list of 500 greatest movies of all time. You go through that list that Empire rated 500 greatest movies of all time. It's nuts. BUGSY Malone also got some BAFTA awards. Hey, Six Nations also says that. So I'm just saying, like, this movie got a lot of praise. It received critical acclaim, and for the screenplay that Alan did, and then his direction, the musical numbers, this narrative is not a standard narrative. It is based on Bugs Moran and Al Capone and the other events that happened during Prohibition. This movie was the script is kind of sanitized. It doesn't really go into things like alcohol and distillery items. No, we're talking about children here. So they're doing childlike things, but they're doing things.
Because he was, remember, Fat Sam, as that was his name is? I keep forgetting it. I'm sorry. When he was upset when they were bashing the barrels and stuff like they did to get rid of the alcohol or whatever. And he was like, not the sarsaparilla. Yeah, I just remember it was so cute. But it was funny. It was a good movie because you could go with your kids and love it with your kids, laugh along with it because you were still looking at it as an adult because you knew what the machine guns did and the alcohol and the dancing girls. Oh, they were so cute with those cute little outfits on. And I didn't think anything dirty about it at all. I mean, I just thought they were cute, skimpy outfits, but they were tasteful. Everybody was tasteful in their
been tainted
and the dancing and everything.
I have to apologize to you, to Flady, to my chat. I've been tainted. When I saw the advert for this movie, I belted out, "Oh fuck! Please don't be cuties. Please don't be cuties."
Oh Jesus fuck!
No, it wasn't anything compared to cuties.
Anything like it at all. And like thank the maker, if we didn't receive that when we watched it, I was like, when I say this movie's about as wholesome as it gets, it really knocks it out of the park. This is a movie that when I was watching it, I was watching myself get surprised with every new development. I actually was watching for more things to happen because I really like Knuckles. He's the Fat Sam main hoodlum that's always popping his knuckles, and Fat Sam's like, "Stop it!" I loved it because
But the arguments between Fat Sam and Jodie Foster's Tallulah, is that what her name was?
Yeah.
Tallulah's characters, they seem like an old married couple.
Yes.
Is adorable. The banter back and forth. Those two definitely were the best two actors in the film. The little boy that was playing the piano and lip syncing and stuff, he was adorable. And then the other one that was sweeping the floors and did the tap dancing and things like that. They were very talented. And I read somewhere in the stuff I was trying to research that one of the guys in it might have been one of the guys that was in the boxing place, the building, one of the trainers or whatever. His name was Michael Jackson, and they said no, he's not. He's not the singer.
He's not the singer.
He was an actor, but there were just. It was phenomenal because I worked on. Oh, I can't say that. Never mind. I was going to say I worked on a movie about boxing and stuff, and the whole thing set up was exactly the same, but in miniature. They had it downsized so that they look like grown-ups in their boxing stuff. Even the boxing bag that they were hitting and stuff was a smaller version. The cars, I mean, the detail that they went through to set up everything, the tables, the desks, everything to fit miniature sized people. It was, I just loved it. I thought it was like, if you could have that whole thing set up and rent it out and let kids be hired, pay you to dress up in the costumes and have their birthday parties or whatever and be gangsters and stuff.
There. Fuck yeah, that'd be
great. You could make a fortune if you owned a business like that. And what you would do is do the paint guns, set it all up and do like we were talking that one day about the murder mystery dinner and stuff. Remember I was telling you about that? Mm-hmm. Do the same thing, write scripts, and then you let the kids act it out, and you say you're the characters that they are, and they get to dress up and do the whole thing about this is that gang and this is your gang, and you shoot each other with paintballs. That would be it would still be fun. And
I would much rather them shoot paintballs at each other. I know that sounds terrible. I much rather would have them shoot paintballs at each other because
I don't think they had paintball back then, did they?
No, that didn't come out till the late 80s, early 90s, to my knowledge.
But today you could do it. You could do a themed gangster, gangs, fight out gangs or whatever, and have everybody dressed up like that, in those costumes and stuff, and give them guns, machine guns. You get a semi-automatic and pelt each other with paint. I just thought I just adored it. I just loved it. I just absolutely loved the whole concept and the detail that the director wrote this script so he could make a movie that was inspired of him reading stories to his children. And I just loved it.
And that's the part that really, we need to get to the origin of this movie. Alan Parker would take his kids on trips, and in order to entertain them, he didn't really like the music at the time. So he would turn the radio off, and he'd just start telling them stories of BUGSY Malone and Fat Sam. And then he just starts creating this narrative, and he starts making notes on it. Mm-hmm. And then next thing he knows, he's got this script that his kids have been kind of part of this. They've kind of helped shape the world. This is one of the most, from beginning to end, one of the most wholesome events in movie history that I can recollect. Because I can't think of another story that actually went like this, except for maybe the creation of Disney World up to the point where Walt Disney dies, and then the wholesomeness just goes right the hell away.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is actually, from start to finish, like the most wholesome thing in movie history. And Alan Parker, thank you so much for making this movie.
And the fact that the singing, you could tell right away the singing wasn't the kids singing. The only one that seemed very realistic when they sang was what was her name? Flossie, the
Mhm.
I
person
think that
who
was
sang
actually her voice.
Yeah,
it's
it
her
was
voice.
her voice.
I think
Yeah.
it's her voice, but I think it was ADR. I think they did ADR with her voice. They recorded her in a booth and then they let her lip sync out.
Oh,
That
so
was
it was
still her
really her
voice.
singing then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from
because
what I'm
that was
understanding,
the only one singing that didn't look like she was just lip syncing. You know, it was so funny though. I couldn't help but laugh when the whole part where Scott Baio and the young, what was his name, Big Mike or whatever they named him, the fighter.
yeah, the
Okay,
kid with
and
Leroy.
they heard the dun dun dun
Leroy
dun.
Smith.
The music started, yeah, Leroy, and they went up the stairs, and it was the place where all the guys were down and out guys. It was like, the hot soup kitchen for these people because they have no jobs. And when they went in there and they did that whole scene, and Scott Baio's character was singing, and he's got that deeper voice as he's singing, and all of a sudden he goes, "You hearing me, guys?" with that little squeaky voice. I couldn't help but laugh, but it was so wholesome. I just loved it. I mean, it was so. It gave me, it broke my heart in a way, and I told you about it afterward because I'm like, what happened? Look at the diversity in that movie. With the little Asian people, it had white people, had a couple of Hispanics, it had blacks, it had all this mixture of good little actors and actresses. Okay, and then they spout all this stuff about today about how we didn't ever were diversity, women didn't have parts, and blacks didn't have enough parts. I mean, it was like, what happened? I mean, we were doing so well with this type of great entertainment, and then we have bullshit now. It's like, I don't get it.
When this little kid came on scene,
Oh,
Dina Morelli, this little shit here, when she came on the stage, like my heart cracked for
when he yelled over and he said, "But I'm afraid." I just wanted to give him a big old hug because he was just so cute. I just loved it. I just thought it was great. I'm so thankful. I have watched some really good movies that I've never seen in my whole life, and I'm thankful because I think this is a great idea to let you guys give us some movies to watch that inspired you when you were young, and let us see them. Because I love this. I really think that if they put this out right now with exactly the way it is, and they just put it out, that I think that it would make money. I really do.
There's two movies we've discussed recently that I think would absolutely smash hit the theaters today, 2023. And I think this movie would be an unconventional hit. It might not smash it. It really might actually. Knowing how the freaking weird crowd is, and I'm looking at you little fucking minor attractive person, I think they'd go nuts for it because they're just weird like that. But I think this movie would sell really well to those that want to watch wholesome entertainment. And this would, I mean,
family,
we're in that
family entertainment.
Like this movie would sell hot. This would be such a, like, we're going to grab the minivan and get all 6 little shits in there and some extra diapers. But I think that would be the selling point. The other movie I thought that would make it huge today would be, I know I'm going to hear some groans, but Cutthroat Island. I think Cutthroat Island, if it was allowed to not have a $60 million,
I thought it was great too.
That movie, of all the movies we've watched, is so before its time because of the fact that you have Gina Davis, and she is she's not a feminist, but she has put forth a lot of effort to bring more women into acting roles and putting women behind the camera.
And she did her own stunts.
Yeah, she did her own stunts, which that, if you've got complaints about feminism in movies and all that, like, really, like, I need to ask you questions about Ripley and Sarah Connor. And I need to know what your stances are on Sheila, on She-Ra and Tila in the Masters of the Universe. And I need to understand, like, are you a ugly purple-haired feminist that deserves to have a bag on your head the rest of your life? Or are you a normal human being that just wants to see a girl try to kick ass? Maybe she'll never kick ass like a guy could. That's fine. But if a woman can at least fight semi-decently, like in the movie Girl Fight with Michelle Rodriguez.
Or Red Sonja.
But no.
She could kick ass.
Let's not look at the fight choreography of that. We'll watch that movie in the future. We will.
But I mean, the characters. I'm talking about the characters.
Yeah, the characters.
There's plenty of good characters. Wonder Woman. I mean, there's tons of women that could hold their own against a man. There's no reason to have to wussify all the men. I mean, I'm not saying that Wonder Woman could kick the Hulk's ass or, anything like that without, a lot of struggle or whatever. She'd have to use, certain things to be able to defeat him. But there was plenty of women in literature that could fight and protect themselves. They didn't have to make men a bunch of cucks, in the future.
The whole of Norse literature and Norse law, like majority of landowners in early Norse history was women because the men died at sea. Mm-hmm. Let's just keep that in mind. Like the women had all the power in the Norse world. They didn't give the land of the house and the heath stag to the father and the brothers like some shitty. Mm-hmm. I people are going to complain because I'm bashing on some Levirate traditions, but I really don't like the idea of just like the woman's not got any say whatsoever. I kind of like a woman being able to head a family if she's a widow, especially. You don't have to force her to marry the ugly uncle. Come on, stop that. So I think I think the movies that we watched here lately, like these two films, in today's society would absolutely embrace them. I think Bugsy Malone could be an absolute banger of a movie at the theaters. It won't sell as much as The Sound of Freedom on opening weekend, but it definitely will earn a good rake. It'll be better than the Elemental take, I know that much. And Disney's Elemental has bombed. Don't listen to fucking Page 6 right now. They're trying to say it wasn't that bad of a failure.
Well, I remember when COVID happened, and then there was all this outcry of people saying the movie theaters are going to go belly up if we didn't start supporting them and things like that. And they said that because of the COVID, they weren't going to be making new movies and all this kind of stuff for a while. And they were saying if they were going to release movies, and they did release a few. I don't remember which ones they were, but I remember releasing a couple older movies to the theaters. And see, if I'd known, these were out there, some of these ones I have never seen that were so good and very good family movies that you could take your young kid to, like this one we just watched. It would have been great. I think it would have done really well at the box office. And so I don't understand these production companies not thinking about, hey, these are some good movies that we can re-release these during this time and make a few extra bucks and not lose, all of our theaters, things like that. But it's just shocking to me that nobody in charge wanted to do anything like that when there was so much stuff out here. There was
one theater down here, actually one theater chain. I'm going to backpedal on that. One theater chain had a selection of 50 movies that you could bring up to 50 people to. And you paid them $150, and your buddies also had to pay at the door, but you had to be part of a party. And you would watch these classic films like Aliens, Terminator 2, Big Trouble in Little China. I remember those three films off the top of my head, but those were the caliber of films. You had Casablanca and Gone with the Wind was part of that too, but since then they've kind of said we don't really want to show Gone with the Wind here. We are Alamo Drafthouse, and we have to mind ourselves as a global theater chain now, bastards. But during COVID, that was something that they were begging because they wanted to stay open. And my favorite Alamo Drafthouse on Marbach, that went away. That felt like an old movie theater because it was nice. They had good seating, but your boots would stick to the carpet or the walkway. Maybe it was the sugar from the caramel. Maybe it was popcorn juices. I don't know. But there were so many times where you go in there and it had a certain smell. It had been in business for so long. Old theaters get that. And that's what I love. That's what I miss the most. When I think about going to see a movie, I would have to go see one of them at a sanitized place that smells like plastic and fucking just corporate greed and shit. and like San Antonio wanting to charge way too much for commercial space, so I have to pay $16 for a ticket. No, 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 no. I'll buy the DVD, and until then, I've got the Yarg high seas.
Well, I still try to go to the theater whenever I can because I like
I would
sitting in the theater. I have a popcorn machine myself. You know, it's a big one. You know, I got a pretty good price on it, and it makes popcorn theater popcorn. But you know, who wants to make a whole giant thing for just me to eat it? You know, so it's like forget it. I'd rather go to the movie theater and just sit and scarf it down with the big screen and the loud, you know, volume and all that stuff, and have my feet up, whatever, and enjoy it, you know, and then maybe bump into a few people and talk to them, you know, about the movie and stuff. But this whole thing right here, it says his drive-in there does 80s Throwback Tuesdays, and it's always packed. If I were you, I would ask them, you know, call them and say, hey, can you get these movies and maybe bring them in, even though they're a little older than I think. This one was in the 70s, right?
Yes,
76. And just see if they can get it, because if you haven't seen it, and you might maybe have a chance for young people to get to see a movie that is really good and they really like, and make a few extra bucks for the theaters. I think it's a great idea. I mean, I don't even think I haven't seen a drive-in theater in forever.
This came out before Grease.
Really?
3 years. Grease was 78, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
2 years. Sorry.
The last movie I saw in theaters was in 2015 when I was in Midland, and they had a showing of Avengers 2. And that was my first viewing of that movie. I didn't really appreciate it too much. There's too many dark scenes, and I kind of was upset, like, why is this movie at a drive-in? But when I saw it at the theater later, it was acceptable. It's not Shakespeare, but it whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I do like going to the theater. I do like going to good movies, but I don't want to pay in excess of $15 for 2 hours. I just feel that's not a good trade. And I know that sounds, well, Bruce, you're nitpicking. Well, deal with it. That's what I do. I nitpick.
But I could definitely tell that the stage director or whoever helped all the girls and the dancers and Jodie Foster's character and the girl that played Flossie with their stuff that they did on stage, you know, to make it look like a real speakeasy, and their little dancing routines. Oh, it was just phenomenal. I just thought it was great. The movie Chicago, remember when it came out? I loved it. I went and saw it at the theater a couple of times. I just loved that movie. It was so good. And it was a musical, but I really like them if they're good. You know, it's like I said, my mom loved the movie. I wish I could have seen it at the theater. It was Victor Victoria. I had to watch it on a small screen at home with my mom, but it was still really, really good. I just love that type of stuff. You know, I just love the costumes, and the acting was really good, and the singing was, you know, phenomenal, and the sets and just everything about it I just loved. That I love that about this, and the scenes where they, you know, had to drive the cars to have their meetups and stuff. They're pedaling along. It was just too adorable, and I think parents like me would feel the same way if they got to see this, because I know there has to be millions of people have never seen this movie, and that's sad, because to actually have a young kid get to watch this movie, I think I would just like to see some young kids get to watch this and see what they actually thought about it. So I'm definitely going to try that and see what happens, because I really think it would be successful if they re-released it, because there's an uprising right now on people wanting wholesome entertainment for their kids. I mean, they couldn't even take their kids to that new movie that came out. I can't remember. It was about Elemental or something, and it even had, you know, gay stuff in that, you know, and which is, I don't understand. It's a cartoon. Why they have to push an agenda to small kids, you know?
There's a reason it bombed.
That's why.
But there's a reason why that movie just absolutely bombed. Um, I as much as I want to see Emperor like get the, and I mentioned this last night, I would love to see Elemental get the biggest bomb of the world award. I
Mhm.
think that'll be reserved for later on this year whenever they try to market it to digital and home release for Indiana Jones 5. I am dancing a jig on that carcass. I'm so
Yeah.
happy that movie's been shit on by critics and by people alike with common sense. It is what was it, $330 million spent and $150 million raked in. That is going to wall up the by $30 million. That's going to wall up the loss that Cutthroat Island made to Carol Co., which killed Carol Co. Let's keep that in
Mhm.
mind. Carol Co. had 60 million in debt it saddled one movie with, and because of its failure, it closed the production house. If
Yep.
only the same could happen to Disney, if they're going to continue to fuck up to have earnings calls. If you guys listen to the earning calls in last year, they are hilarious. And then they double down on stupidity and they are like, we're going to make better bad gay films for kids. What? What?
Yeah, but the thing is, okay, look at what's happened to Budweiser. They've had to sell off some of their brands, some of their different labels or whatever underneath that brand, right?
A lot of the
Because to
craft
make
beers have
up
been sold.
for, yeah, to make up for their losses. And then the Sturgis tent, that nobody went to,
Nobody
they
drank
couldn't
an
even
80s
give it
product.
away. They could not even give away the product. That's
Well,
great. And if we can keep doing this with the movies from Disney and stuff, and they're a flop after flop after flop, sooner or later, the people are going to start selling the stock and stuff because it's going to start bottoming out. If we can just hold out long enough. But I lost hope when I found out that that stupid Barbie movie made like over $100 million. I mean, I don't know
it
how
made
much
a
it
billion.
made.
Over a
It made
billion.
over a
Okay,
billion.
now, but when I first heard about it making over 100 million, I was like, what the blank is going on? Is every man, half the men in the world or more cucks?
They're already talking
What
about
is going
Barbie.
on? It's terrible.
Tell you what,
I'm not going to watch it.
on Saturday, ask Connell because he took his daughter to go see it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not going to say that he outright paid for it. He didn't. Connell has a theater that has a monthly pass. You
Mm-hmm.
pay so much money and you see so many movies. Just
Mm-hmm.
take your punch card in. And they do it. And that's what he does. But your money is essentially going to that movie if you see that movie on a pass like that, or if you pay for it outright. Whereas if you do it the smart way, like, I don't know, let me see this on the high seas first. And if you like it, then yeah, go ahead, go pay for it. That's kind of what I like to try before you buy model. And RPG Grandma says Barbie's a cult. The cultists are watching it, and government's pushing it as well. The CIA, Dianne Feinstein, and I know you guys are like Dianne Feinstein. She's 90 and like shit yourself, Bruce. She was a CIA shill back in the 80s. Between her and what was that lawyer, the feminist lawyer? I can't think of her name, but she was a CIA shill as well. She was just taking whatever pamphlets and bullet points and run with it, and she cucked so many people in California. And I'm gonna, I
Is
there's
she the one that represented the girlfriend of that guy that murdered his pregnant wife?
I believe so.
I can't remember what her name is right now.
Bruce,
I could see her face, but I can't remember it. But
Madeline
her daughter's
Albright's
a lawyer
yeah,
too.
Yeah,
Bruce, did you hear the newest Feinstein news?
no,
Her daughter is power of attorney over her personal affairs, but she's still voting. How can we have someone, a legal representative, who's not even legally in charge of their own life anymore?
that's the problem I'm having with the entire administration. Like we've got a bunch of geriatric, dementia-riddled pieces of crap here that don't know what time it is. All they ask for is ice cream, and then they're throwing this piece of paper in front of them. Sign it, sign it, sign it, and that's it. That's our entire system of government right now, and that's why China's kicking our ass. guess, because like they actually know what they're doing and they have a definite plan. These guys had a plan, but when you hit age 90, the plan is I want a nap by 2 p.m. and no supper later than 4.
And change my diaper.
Yeah, change my diaper. Yeah,
Did you hear his comment on Hawaii?
Well, if you're in your 20s, maybe changing each other's diapers might be fun, for play, but not when you're 90. I don't want to do it.
I don't think it's that fun.
No, I don't want to change anybody's diaper at any age. I mean, I'll change a baby's diaper.
Hey, it's a fetish. You can look it up.
I know it is. I'm just saying it's gross no matter what.
I know. I was kidding.
My channel does not endorse this whatsoever. Please delete that. Please delete that from the rolls. We do not understand if Janet said that. I don't know if I don't even think I heard it from her. Nope, not at all.
I was joking.
I know you were joking. Ah, God, we're talking about a wholesome movie and we're talking about bad kink play. Oh.
Yeah, it is wholesome. This is a great family movie. I really, really enjoyed it. I was really surprised how good it was, because when I first watched the trailer, I was like, "What? They're too young to be in a movie about machine guns and prohibition and all that." It's what I was thinking. So when I got to watch it, I saw the opening scene, which was so cute. You see the kid running down the street and he's falling down because he's running for his life. And then he runs down a dark alley and he's petrified against the wall. And then the guns go off and he's getting hit with a bunch of biscuits. It was the cutest thing. And it was really cute. I just thought the
trailer
whole way.
needs work, in my opinion.
The what?
The trailer. I think we have a different standard for trailers now. Like if it was to be re-released, they would have to rework a trailer.
That's what I mean. I think if they reworked the promotional parts of it and the poster and stuff, and updated it a little bit, but they wouldn't have to do anything to the movie, because I think the nostalgic point of view, the way it was filmed, the cars, all that, I'm telling you, those cars would sell out. If they were to make those pedal cars for kids, they'd be driving them all over the streets. I just really think they could make money off of this. I just think it's really good. It's a new reinvigoration of wholesome entertainment for families.
Do you guys remember? Okay, we all remember the big wheel from the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they still make a big wheel today. I don't know. Daughter doesn't live with me, so I'm just going to say that back in the 70s and 80s, we had these things called big wheels, and they were basically this large plastic, probably about a 14 or 16-inch wheel that you had had pedals on either side, and you sat down and you pedaled your way through whatever you're doing. It was kind of like a precursor to like your first little bike, and then you graduate to your bigger bike, and then you eventually you get a 10 or 18 speed, and you're a man or a woman. But when you're a little kid, like 5 or 4, you have a big wheel. And there were some big wheels that didn't have conventional pedals. Like some of them had like levers, and like they had the same type of pedals, but for you to go anywhere, you had to kick the levers and the pedals at the same time. And then you had to like lean things. It was weird. There was one called the Green Machine that my uncle had at his place. And that was one of the weirdest kid locomotion devices I've ever seen. I would love to see one of those nowadays in complete parts, because I just think they were really cool. I never got the chance to really get good at it because I was uncoordinated as hell, still am. But I think that was one of the coolest toys, and just because I never got good at it, that was something I wanted to get good at. That, and I did want to eventually try a half pipe with a skateboard, but nowadays I don't drink enough milk to keep my bones from breaking, I think.
But now they have a real big wheel that grown-up men can drive.
I
with the motorcycle with the 3 wheels.
I saw that.
I think that's cool.
Well, with you never saw Big Greg's truck that he got for his wife, but it would have like the little running board that would come out when you park it, and like she would use that to get up because she's only like 4'9". She's borderline dwarfism. She's so cute. And when you see her get in a truck, like, Big Greg, on Saturdays.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Mhm.
whenever you see her get in and out of this truck, like it reminded you when you'd go to Walmart and you see the $700 battery operated car that you grip the steering wheel and it goes.
Yeah.
It reminded you of that because like it's the same thing where you have big person in a little car. Well, now you have a big truck and a little person, and it was so cute.
But the thing is, just think about it. If you could start pushing, skateboards are still very popular, and it's all U powered. You know,
Yes.
roller skates, ice skates, all those type of things are all U powered. And if you could come out with some of these cool cars, gangster cars, where you had to pedal them around like these kids did, it'd get kids outside again, get kids to doing stuff outside, riding. It's like riding a bike, but it's the coolest bike ever. Every kid would want to ride on it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
and yeah,
I just
I
think
got
it's
some grief.
awesome.
So I got some grief earlier when we were saying we could have a kids cosplay event where
Yeah.
they all get to have their 1920s event, together. And somebody was
Hmm.
like, "Oh yeah, we'll have a cosplay gang war." Well, I mean, I'd rather have a cosplay gang war than an actual gang war. I mean, this isn't Chicago for fuck's sake. But I just, I think that would still be healthy because the kids would have a chance to recreate and use the things that are taught to them in history class if they actually have a history class worth of shit. And
Yeah.
that's one of the other problems I have. I mean, like your daughter's not going to get a good education. Well, fuck, thanks. And because your kid's going to be too busy learning about what pronoun she is. Go to hell. And I don't want to hear that crap. But I'm
Myself and I.
yeah, yeah, a loyal American, a devout patriot, that sort of thing. And I'm sorry, I just the more I think about it, like I would much rather have this cosplay event be an option for them for like recess or like some band director. You always get the one person that they're saddled with like taking the fifth graders for like 3 hours
Hmm.
because like the teacher that has an event or a doctor's appointment or something, and so like this other teacher has to take the
The
kids and do
substitute.
stuff. Yeah, we got to substitute. We got to do dance class, and so
Yeah.
like we find out which kids are got rhythm endowed and which ones do not. And once you figure that out, it's pretty easy. It's downhill. But you would have the kids like, okay, we're going to stretch a different muscle today. Some of your brothers and sisters played Dungeons and Dragons. Here's some outfits for you, and we're going to do something a little different. It's going to be called mobsters. And there's some things we're going to talk about, things from the 1920s Chicago, and you're going to have a personal, actual attachment to this because I'm going to help you with history. And I think that would be so much cooler than having a bunch of kids on fucking Adderall sitting in their desks, blankly staring at a teacher in a blackboard. Because I've seen that. I've seen that. I saw that in school. I saw that with my kids' friends growing up. I'm seeing that with my cousin's kids now, because you can tell which ones were doped up as to shit, and like now they're like saying, "Hey, it's really not a problem. I just had a bad trip. I thought it was just marijuana, but there was some fentanyl in it too, and like I almost died." What?
That's
That
terrible.
yeah, like that's one of the events. Like I dealt with that on my own personal side 4 months ago, and just like the levels of rage, like there's stages of rage a man will go through, but when it's like your niece or your nephew or your cousin's kid or something like that, like you, you have those dark thoughts in truth, like I'm just gonna go over here, I need to decompress this, and I'll be fine. But the healthy construction, the healthy alternate or alternative reality that a teacher or mentor could help provide in these miserable schools that are going on, I think it would be a lot more healthy for the kids to explore that than for them to learn about their fucking pronouns. Because you could actually get actual history lessons. You could get an idea of what it was like. What was the moonshine? How was this? And now the kids are learning about logistics, cost, and material development, along with other things. And chemistry. Chemistry's there too. I'm not trying to say we're going to teach all your kids to be Heidenbergs, but I think Heisenberg. but I think that would be something a lot more preferable because kids want to learn shit.
Yeah. I was
And
trying
I
to find
think
something.
Say
I'm
again?
looking for it. I looked up the thing about Fat Sam, and that they'd went in trying to find the right kid for the role or something like that, and that they asked who the biggest troublemaker was
Yep, and they
in
pointed
this.
him out.
Yeah, I just thought that was adorable, and that's how they got him, that little actor to play him. I was trying to find it, and I can't find it again. It was when I was looking up a bunch of stuff yesterday,
Well,
but that was a cute little tidbit of information of how they got him, because he was very rowdy, uh, very boisterous, and I think he did a really good job. Him and Jodie Foster, I think, were the two top characters.
I like Knuckles better than John Cassisi, but John was an amazing character in this film.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely brought a lot to the table, and I thought that for him having the role he had, they actually casted it right, and they didn't try to really tone it down. You
Mm-mm.
could see you yes, it's a child playing a mob boss, but for the context this movie is moving things in, that Sam's really fun to watch. And most bad guys, if they're a good bad guy, they're almost more fun to watch than the good guy. And Fat Sam, not exactly a paladin. He's not a horrible person, but
Mm-hmm.
he's definitely conflicted there. He's got some things going on, but eventually he does do the right thing. And I really appreciate how this movie developed from the opening reel to the closing act.
And
I
the actor, the young actor that played the other guy, that with the little wispy little mustache and stuff, he reminded me of an actor, but I can't remember who it was. I've been racking my brain trying to, as a grown up. I mean, I was seeing him as a grown up in other stuff. That same type of guy that looked a lot like this kid that played the. I can't remember what his name was, but he had the fancier house, and he had his more
Dandy Dan.
servant. Yeah, Dastardly Dan or whatever.
Dandy Dan.
Andy Dan, yeah, and all his people, when he was in the one part when he's going up and he's thanking them all for what a great job they've done, except for the one guy, he just totally ignored him. That whole little scene was just awesome. I mean, they all did such a good job acting like they're all macho, and like I don't know, I can't explain it, but it's just all the different scenes just had such character in them.
That's something this movie's got a lot of. This movie's got a lot of heart and soul in it, because whenever you're watching this, you do get kind of absorbed into the film. You kind of get pulled in. Your childlike side really gets awakened in this movie. I've got to give it that. Probably is the highest commendation I can give.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry. But the speakeasy, when Fat Sam's complaining about Roxy was one of the best guys,
Mm-hmm.
he puts the blame right on Dandy Dan, and it kind of like pairs you up with like, okay, this kind of lets me in on Fat Sam, on what his character really is like, and you get more and more for Bugsy. You get more in Bugsy's pocket as like you're trying to like, hey man, this is going to work out for you. Just don't lose your cool, don't get splurged, and you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. But the whole story, as it starts going through, how he was Fat Sam didn't want Dan to know that he was shaking in his boots or afraid, like he was telling Knuckles when he made him stay behind, and they went back in upstairs into his office, and you see the foreshadows cutouts in the window. It was just little things like that is what made it so adorable for me. I mean, this could actually be a movie that they could do now, but change the story to be more of a comedy type musical with grown-ups playing the parts of the characters, and add a little more of the adult content with real guns, and not real guns, but guns and things like that. Basically, it's like Peaky Blinders.
This movie
It's,
could work as a child's tale or as an adult's tale.
yeah, it could be either way if you just make some changes to the script. So to me, I just thought the screenwriting was phenomenal. I thought, did he write any more scripts? This director?
Alan Parker. Let me pull him up here.
Because he was very talented. But the detail that he went into, like I said, about the going into the office and then having the cutouts in the window, just little things like that, and then adding the little extra tap dancing scene and the modern dance of the young woman, between the tap dancer and the young woman when he's singing in the bar, because he's always tomorrow, and he's sweeping the floor and everything. The dream scenes where they're thinking about their future, what could be, like when Flousie's daydreaming about becoming an actress, little things like that. I mean, all of this, the movie Chicago basically is a grown-up version, of what we watched.
I've
And it
never
was a
seen
phenomenal
Chicago.
movie.
Watch that.
I loved Chicago. I thought, the girl Roxy, all the different characters that were in it. I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. I enjoyed it. But, like I said, I love anything in that.
If there's a musical, Janet's on it. So
yeah, if it's good. Now, if it's a bad one, I'm on. But I'll watch it just to see if I like it or not. But I really liked Chicago. I thought it was very well done.
There's some musicals that Alan Parker did. So anybody here that's into musicals, I need you to take notice. He used a few different filmmaking styles. The movies he's involved with, BUGSY Malone was his opener. Fame in 1980.
Oh, he did Fame?
Fame.
Love that show. Wait, the movie or the show?
Movie, 1980.
All right.
Fame.
Well, that's what they're both inspired by the same script.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then he did Pink Floyd The Wall, which is fucking great.
Seriously?
Wow,
Yeah.
He's really talented.
He did The Commitments in 1991. Then he kind of fell off and he did Evita, which I wasn't a fan of that.
I didn't see either one of the last two that you were talking about.
The Commitments wasn't bad. The Evita, I believe that's a Madonna film, and I just kind of don't like Madonna. Sorry.
I mean, I didn't even like the movie, something that Madonna was in. They were looking for somebody or something. I can't remember the name.
Desperately Seeking Susan.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't think it was very good at all.
I would rather watch Melanie Griffith do all of her various accents than watch anything with Madonna.
She was not a good actress.
Can I stand next to this microwave with a bunch of aluminum foil in it, please? Okay. All right. Then he did the true crime dramas Midnight Express, Mississippi Burning, Come See the Paradise, Angela's Ashes, family dramas like Shoot the Moon, Angel Heart. You guys remember Angel Heart? I remember Angel Heart.
It sounds
familiar. The Cosby Daughter.
Oh, wasn't that like a thriller or something?
Did you have Cinemax?
Oh, was it dirty?
Yay.
I don't guess I watched that one.
Inches. It had inches in it. And The Life of David Gale. During his time, Alan Parker won 19 BAFTA awards, 10 Golden Globes, 6 Academy Awards. His film Birdie was chosen by the National Board of Review as one of the top 10 films of '84, won the Grand Prix Special du Jury Prize at the 1985 Cannes Film Festival. Parker was appointed a Commander of the Order of the British Empire for his services to the British film industry and knighted in 2002. He was active in both British and American cinema, along with being a founding member of Directors Guild of Great Britain and lecturing at various film schools. Now, he is no longer with us today. he is departed as of the last day of July 2020. But it is important to note his litany of accomplishments, and I believe that's something that whenever we have any discussion where we're talking about a director or scriptwriter that has this huge list of accomplishments, much like whenever we discuss Tony Bennett on your show, Janet.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to pay attention to the shit they did, because it wasn't, quite unquote, just them that did it. They hired people, they brought people on scene, they had catering, they paid people hundreds of thousands of dollars for millions of dollars in gross revenue. And that is how this industry feeds itself. And that's how us people here, and you guys in the chat, God bless you for being here. I love you guys. But that is how we are entertained.
Mm-hmm.
We seek people that are masters of their craft. And Alan Parker was a master of his craft. This is a guy that I didn't know about until I started to read about him 5 minutes before this show. I'm in the kitchen cooking supper real quick, and I hit this
multitasking.
This guy, like, I've never known about this guy ever. This year has sucked for me, and we've lost some really influential actors and comedians that I really love in the last 3 years. I'm unable to discuss everybody at length we lost because that's out of focus. But Mr. Alan Parker, director of this movie, I am so sorry that this is the first I've taken note of him himself. This is an amazing body of work he has, and I will endeavor my best to watch and enjoy what he's given us. Six Nations, 31 Kings talks about Moulin Rouge, which is one of the better musicals that came out since the 2000s.
What about Burlesque?
Never saw it.
Good too.
It's good? Okay.
Yeah, with Cher. And I can't remember what the girl's name is. A real pretty blonde. It's called Burlesque.
I'll have to see it, but
it's good. It's a good
movie. Send me
too.
a message, Janet, and I'll throw it in as a forced entry for us to watch together, because I'll have Garrett queue it up on the player. I'm so sorry that I'm not a big Cher fan. I'm sorry, but one of my favorite Italian movies.
It's the rest of the people really that make it really good.
That's something I realized. One of my favorite movies to watch with my family is what is it? It's got Nicolas Cage and Cher's in it. Tony Aiello, Danny Aiello's in it. Moonstruck. That's one of my.
That's the only movie I really like with
Snap out of it.
That's the only movie I really enjoy sharing. That was like, and
I liked her. I liked her in Mask. That was one of my favorite movies.
Actually, okay, I forgot she was in that. Mask was good.
I mean, I didn't watch it for her. I watched it for Eric Stoltz's amazing.
I think he did a great job in that.
Eric Stoltz.
Yeah, Eric Stoltz and Sam Elliott was in it, but I think Cher did a phenomenal job in that.
Now I have to watch that movie again.
Yeah.
Remember, Sam Elliott was her love interest. One of her love interests in the movie.
Yeah, she had a few. I mean, the lady didn't make.
Remember, she was a biker chick, mom. That was real good with her son.
For those of you that understand the villages of Florida, I'm just going to say drugs, and that's how the boy was made.
Yeah.
I know that's a Bruce. You're being mean. Alan Parker, thank you so much. You've helped me really discover some fantastic movies. I think I did see Fame like 10 years ago, and it's not bad. If you want a really good double header or a double feature, Fame and the 1978 Janet Jackson The Wiz. I don't know if you guys remember The Wiz, but that was kind of.
I remember it.
I didn't really like it. I couldn't get into it.
I got into it just for the fact that I love the story of the Wizard of Oz, and they managed to make it through the budget and through the fact that, like, it's definitely not the Wizard of Oz that a lot of people remember. It's not the book per se, but it is a interpretation of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still, for me, it was enjoyable. And I know hot take. I'm sorry,
I
but
like Labyrinth.
Labyrinth. Yeah,
Yeah, Labyrinth. It was really good. It was a musical, but it was an excellent movie.
I
I
actually
loved it.
saw that 2018. No, 2016. I got to see Labyrinth because they had a special at the Alamo Draft House, and it was a party. So when you get there, you get this bag of stuff, and at certain points, you have these cheerleaders at the side of the screen, and they tell
Mm-hmm.
you what to throw. It was
That's
pretty
just
cool.
like Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I went to see it at a midnight movie, and you paid $5, and they gave you this big paper bag with like a water gun in it, and rice, and hot dogs, and all kinds of stuff to just throw during in deck of cards. It had all kinds of stuff. It was really fun. And then I went to bunches of them for years because I just loved it. And then they started picking me to dress up as they wanted me to be Janet all the time. I was like, I want to be Magenta.
I want to be Magenta. Yeah, I've heard this a few times from you, but yes, I can understand why they want you to be Janet. I
Well,
can completely understand.
that's my name, but
Yeah, that and the fact, like, you also morph really well. You're
Mhm.
5'9", so if we need you to be shorter, you can hunch a little bit. You'll be
You just
5'6".
wear flats
Yeah,
and you just wear 5-inch, heels if you want to be really tall, which is
exactly.
great. Or
So
nice boots, thigh-high boots or something, depending on what you're dressing up as. So it's fun.
the this movie, like, I'm not conflicted because while I don't quote unquote enjoy this movie as a 48-year-old man, I enjoy this movie as it is. I think this is a great film, and I want to say, like, this probably is going to be overrated for some people, for me, but for chat that's familiar with this film, if you guys could just enter your scores on this movie, and however you
Mhm.
score, if it's a report card, A, B, C, D, F, if it's stars, that's great. If it's a number out of 10, or if it's a number out of 100, just get your number in, and I'll read them, because I think I'm kind of curious about what everybody else thinks of this movie. This
Well,
not
what is that? What do you think, lady? What would you give it if you gave it, out of a 10? What would you? What
Um,
would you?
it's hard because I'm very biased. I mean, I would definitely give it a 10 out of 10.
You would from your
Yeah,
childhood memories of it,
yeah.
and,
I mean, could I pick it
when you saw
apart?
it as an
Absolutely.
adult, it didn't change your childhood memories of it watching as an adult.
No, because like I said, normally I'm basically just watching it through that childhood's eyes. Like when we were watching last night, like I
Hmm.
could feel like my little sister kicking me. My dad going, "Move your head!" Like it takes me to another place in time. Um, but if I want to be overly critical, yeah, I could pull the movie apart. Like I just noticed last night, the end scene when they're driving away. I'm glad they didn't fly away like in Greece. She drops her hat and catches it, and they left it
Hmm.
in the movie, and you can see the look on her face, like that was left in the movie. That was
Yeah,
she
she
wasn't
was
supposed to drop
embarrassed. You could tell she was a
her.
little bit embarrassed
Yeah.
that she wasn't holding on to it when they took off.
You know, could I make the singing parts? Yes. Do their mouths move like it's a Shaw Brothers kung fu movie? Sure. I could nitpick it and be mean and brutal, um,
Mhm.
but considering what they went through to make it, and um, that it still holds to this day, and
Mhm.
that it could be used as a template, like not to be a remake, but to inspire. Yeah, I would give it a 10 out of 10 for children, people with children, people who want to remember their childhood, someone who just needs to be cheered up and look at something absolutely absurd, ridiculous, and goofy. I mean, yeah, I give it. But I'm biased, so yeah, I'll do a 10 out of 10. You know,
cool. Um, I'm not going to give it that weighted of a score, but I mean, I think that's pretty fair. Emperor 1G says that I gave it a solid 7 out of 9. which is a very respectable score.
Yeah.
Six Nations, 31 Kings says a solid film, 8 out of 10. Great production, sets, costumes, etc. Family-oriented classic. It's very wholesome, rare in this day and age. And I think, like I said at the start, I think this movie would nail it at the box office if a family wanted to go see it. Family films aren't really wanted to be made, as Grandma RPG Grandma said earlier. This is a fantastic film, and you could take your grandkids. You could be a grandparent taking your great grandkids and your grandkids to the film, and they would accept it for what it is, because once you get in the movie, 6 minutes in the film tops, you recognize what this movie is, and all thoughts of Pacino getting blown up in a car pretty much are out of your head. This is a kids movie. It is a solid G film.
Even the scene in the barber shop where they're setting him, where the barber is setting him up to be slain. Basically, that whole thing had every grown up that would watch it would understand everything that's going on. The kid, if they've never seen a gangster film, I think they would kind of understand that something's going to happen to him. He's going to get the donuts in his face or whatever, type of thing, but they're not going to be thinking of it as murder or whatever. And that's what I loved about it, was the fact that as soon as I started watching it and I was seeing it's in a kid's vision, a child's vision of a gangster story. And I just fell in love with it. So I would definitely give it a 9 out of 10, because I just thought it was phenomenal. I mean, I really loved it. I really think that if they figured out a way to re-promote this and put it out again as a nostalgia movie, a family or family movie for the whole family to go see, and they could get Jodie Foster and Scott Baio to go out and they could go out and do Comic-Cons and stuff, and people would want to meet them and talk to them about their experience while they were on this movie. I just really think I could see a whole thing going on about it. I mean, heck, if I was rich, I would start just going and finding old movies like this one, good classic home, loving movies like this and Cutthroat Island and other ones like it, and redistribute them.
I don't think Cutthroat Island. I do not think Cutthroat Island was a wholesome film.
No, I'm not saying just that one. I'm saying to redistribute these older movies for a brand new audience, to bring them to, but re-promote them, make new posters, make new trailers for them, updated versions of it, but then have the actual stars, if they're still alive, promote the movie, and give them a little money, but to boost it, because I'm sure if they came out with DVDs and stuff later on, that they would be compensated for that. But I just think that's a whole new aspect of regenerating people to want to go see movies again. You know what I mean? To be drawn back into family entertainment, or just older style movies. Because I just don't realize, I mean, just think about it. People don't know what they're missing because they haven't seen it. They don't know what they've missed. When they see what real entertainment was and what they have today, they'd be going, what happened? Just like me. I'm always flabbergasted by it. I mean, I want to go see that movie, the Last Voyage of the Demeter, by myself, because no one likes horror movies, but I'm going to go see it. I want to go see it at a theater, and I want to go at night when it's dark outside and, build up the whole thrill of it. Because it looks really corny, but really awesome to me. So I'm excited about it.
It's a great film. I don't want to say anything negative, but it looks like a great film. I don't know if it is or not, but I'm kind of interested in it. But at the same time, like it's got this huge cast of characters. It's like Dracula. My first opinion is that, like, I hope they give Dracula a bigger part in the movie than what they did in the trailer.
I know. I think they are going to. I think they are. I think that this is gonna give him a good kick, and he looks like the one from Salem's Lot,
Yeah.
From the little bit, the one that scares the crap out of you, a very scary vampire. So, in a way, I'm really excited about it. I really want to see it. But this movie, definitely, I recommend. I've been telling everybody about it since I watched it. Everyone that I've been able to talk to. because it's just really, really good movie. Very well made.
I'm gonna give my score here. I'm gonna rate it 7.1 out of 10.
Wow, that's high for Bruce.
71. Yeah, I don't rate movies that high. I really don't. Like they're I didn't even rate Big Trouble in Little China a 10 out of 10. I gave that a 98, and that's like the highest I've ever given a movie. I think that's still my highest scoring film. I like this movie. I could probably watch it again within a short period of time. I thought initially, like, man, I'm going to dog on this movie because it's I'm 48 and blah, you have that mindset, but then you start looking at the accomplishments, you start looking at the achievements, and you start remembering parts about the movie, and just the wholesomeness bites you in the ass. Like, you really are going to dog on a kids movie? You're an asshole, Bruce. And I'm not really want to do that. I need to be cheery about this because this is not a bad movie. This is not a 55 out of 100. This is a 71 out of 100. And this is a very good film to watch. It's good to have in your DVD cabinet. And like what Flady's doing with his kids and his family, he's going to have this movie available, and it's going to be in the DVD player or the Blu-ray once a year.
VHS tape.
Listen, if you got a VHS that still works, that's great. But like, I'm just trying to say, like, I popped in a copy of The Crow at a friend's house not long ago, and my VHS copy of The Crow is now a twisted pile of tape and broken plastic.
Oh,
yeah, that's sad. I'll have to get a disc, but I prefer DVDs anyway. You get so much better storage on it.
Yeah, I just couldn't get rid of it. I kind of like a pack rat. I keep a lot of stuff in storage that I'm not going to use, but still can't part with it.
This movie is really good. I'm just
I was pleasantly surprised. Very surprised how good it was.
Like, I'm pretty certain they didn't pay for any costumes. And if they did, it was for alterations. But I thought all the costuming was fantastic. I like the props. The only thing I really don't like is the splurge guns or the splurging. Like, I would have been okay with Bruce. This is not a kids movie. If you say this, I would have been happy with the kids getting shot and having the blood spurts. But I also like RoboCop 1987. That's a high point of cinema.
I liked it just like it is because of that. What they did with the cars and what they did with the weapons is why I loved it so much, because it took all the violence out. Okay. It's not violence when you know that they're not dying. Okay. And they're not being blown to bits. The fact it was almost like, just like I said, it was like a bunch of kids dressing up and playing gangster. That's what it was like. When we were growing up, and we used to do that, that's what it was like. That's why I loved it. That's why it made my heart melt. Because I know I kept saying, "Oh my God, that's so cute." I just couldn't help it. I didn't mean to, but when I got to see it on screen and it's unfolding in front of me while I was watching it, I just loved the kids were just adorable, and I just couldn't believe how well they all did. All of them, even that little boy that says, "I'm afraid," he was about to go out there and start that whole battle and get them to follow him into the barn so they could lock him up. And the fact that they were dressed as, catchers at a baseball game, this stuff like that was just awesome. And that's what I'm talking about. Why I asked about the script, because he put so much detail. Because when you're writing a script, you have different sections on it where you're writing what the scene is. You have to write with the scene, and then you write the characters and what the characters are wearing, how old they are, whether they're hunched over or what their details of what they're doing, and then you have their dialogue. So the whole script. I mean, he was phenomenal. I would love to be able to download that script and just read it. I mean, the details in it, I think would be very interesting to read.
All right, guys, you have your homework assignment. If you could get a hold of the script for Bugsy Malone 1976 to 1975 original, that'd be fantastic.
Send it to my Discord.
Fan link that to Janet's Discord, and please, if you could do that, that'd be great. I'm not asking for it right now either, But Christmas is coming. You could definitely surprise her. Stupid little things like that she loves. And then
Yeah,
I'm talking like a
they love
hyperlink. Don't get her like a brand new bulletproof vest and a 357 Magnum shined up like a hubcap. Don't do that. She's well off on guns. You don't have to buy her things. She likes guns and flowers, but
Mhm.
yeah. I do want to say this movie, like where it fell apart for me was the splurge guns, and like when the kids got shot with the flower ball, like they're just all washed up. They stopped being bad. That was a part that it
I
failed
just
for me.
loved it though. Like when the scene where he had the Dastardly Dan, or what's his name? Dandy Dan. Is that what his
Dandy
name?
Dan.
Yeah.
Okay. In the office, and he had his men all lined up, like I was talking about, and he was like thanking all of them. What a great job you guys did. He's pumping them up. He knows how to treat his guys. They listen to him, they look up to him, except for the one guy. He kept passing up. He wouldn't shake his hand, he wouldn't look him in the eye, and he knew he was in trouble. And then they all turn on him, and they all got pies in their
Yeah.
hands. I just thought it was great. I just thought that whole concept of dough and pies and flour and whipped cream and all that stuff that they're going to use, I just thought that was great. It made it more wholesome and fun, because who doesn't want a food fight? Every kid it's ever ate in a lunchroom has wanted to have a massive food fight after they've seen it on TV. And
John
why do you think
Belushi really does.
Nickelodeon was so popular? Because of all the goo and slime that people got to slime people and stuff like that. So I just think the whole concept of that part of it is what makes that movie unique and special, and why I think it would be so popular today. Those guns would sell out like crazy if you could put biscuits in there and just blam, 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 run around and shoot people with them. I think it'd be great. Get
Yeah,
a
but
lot of
every toy, half the
every
toys
year
get sold.
on Easter, we take all of us sisters, we save our eggs. You poke a hole on each end and you blow the yolk out, right? And you save the egg, the whole egg. And then we fill them up with flour. We put a little funnel in there and we put flour in them. Then we put stickers on them on each end. And then we save them in the things. And we have 50 dozen eggs. Okay. And then you take them and you hide them all over my yard, which is huge. And then you send out people after you've been having a few beers or whatever, and you have a big giant homemade slip and slide with water running on it, with dish soap and all that on there. Bottles, we got bottles and bottles of dish soap to add to it. And then you run around, you find the eggs, and you throw them at each other. We bash each other with these eggs because they explode. And then you're covered with flour and soapy water. So it's blast, but it's a grown-up Easter egg hunt, and it's fun. So don't knock the dough shooting weapons. I think it's
I'm
great.
gonna knock it. I'm gonna knock
Janet,
it because
who taught you that?
guns
What?
didn't work.
With the
The
floured
egg
egg.
thing. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember. We just did it growing up. As we got older, and because it was not as much fun to find plastic eggs with candy in them. So I don't remember who it was, but one of us came up with it. So we all started, a couple months before Easter, we would all start doing that with our eggs. So we'd have the eggs because they bust really easy. When you have a little bit of flour
yeah.
and you bust them, and they just go poof, and it's just fun. And guys and women love it, and it's for grown-ups. It's
I
even
was
the
just
kids want
curious
to do
if it was your dad, because they used to do that in Japan. That was an actual ninja trick. They would fill with
it. So that might be where it came from.
black pepper, stuff like that.
No, we didn't use nothing bad in it.
Eyes.
That would burn.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Pepper in your eyes and stuff. But
but
the
I mean,
flour is
it's
fun.
almost the exact same thing. Just you're using something safe like flour, but the technique is the same.
Mm-hmm. But it's fun. It's exciting. It's fun. It's something we all look forward to. And then when we're all covered with flour, then we'd all get our take our overshirts off or whatever, and we'd slip down the slip and slide, because I got a huge, ginormous hill in my front yard, and because I'm towards the top of a hill, a big mountain, and we take big sheets of black plastic and just roll it out and use that as a giant slip and slide. As long as you got a lot of soap on it and you got your sprinklers going down, you're gonna slide all day long, and you can shoot a long ways. It's fun. So if you want grown up fun, that's the kind of stuff to do.
We used to do
You're
that a
never too
lot.
old to have a good time.
No, I just haven't had a slip and slide
You
in the
might
elbow.
break a leg, but it's still fun.
The last time I did something fun like that, I went to the river in New Braunfels and I floated the river with Chris. That was a lot
Mhm.
of fun. I could do that again. I like stupid things like that. Make sure you bring beer, but I really the only part of the movie that falls apart for me, like I said, is the guns. One
Mhm.
for the fact of shooting flower, like I'd like something a little bit more lasting. Not just like, oh, he's washed up, he's out. He's out of the game. I don't like that. Like we used to play tag where I'm from, the non-lethal version of tag, which that's the assassination game for those of you who don't know what tag is, and that was a lot of fun. But you would go around and like it was kind of like a LARP event because you could hire your buddies to pretty much like use a water pistol or like a super soaker on somebody, and they'd be out of the game. They
Yeah.
couldn't afford it anymore. They're done. And once you had to be able to do it in an area where it could be verified. So anywhere not like a store or where other people were walking where they could get distracted or have an accident, an injury, we're staying out of legality. So like if you went to somebody's house, completely safe to do. If you went to a store that was affiliated with this, completely safe to do. But we had tag leagues in Decatur, Illinois, and that was just something we did. It was a lot of fun. And like my old sensei got into it, a lot of people hired him because nobody knew this guy, and he could just alter his appearance. He started off with like this like Motorhead style haircut mullet, and then like by the end of it, he had no beard. He had a high and tight, and nobody recognized him throughout all this. And he got hired like 4 or 5 times throughout the last league we played in '96. But
Mhm.
that was cool. You can't do
But
that
see,
now.
they did eliminate people. So when you got shot with one of those weapons with the dough, you were out of the game.
But
Because
they
remember,
stayed
that's why
on
you had the
film.
four silhouettes in the windows because all his guys got taken out with
Yeah,
dough.
yeah.
So I just loved it. I thought the concept of it was just cute as could be. What a great dad. I mean, it reminds me of something that my dad might have done for us. Like he taught me, I remember one of my show and tells at school, I think it was second grade. And I remember my dad had brought home some balsa wood. It's real thin. And he showed me how to put the two thicker pieces of wood, that you can snap really easy. And we put it on each side and then we glued it. And then I put the balsa wood over it. And then we took flash bulbs, like from those little cameras when you could put the little bulb in it so you could take snaps as a 110 camera or something like that. And we'd hook that with the two wires. And then when someone would sneak around and you'd hide your little, it was like he'd say we hook it up to a grenade or whatever. And when someone would step on it, what would happen? And what we do is when you push the two wires together, the flash bulb would go off. And I remember taking it to school, and my mom got called to the school because that's when I took this show and tell, and I was in second grade, and they were like, "This isn't a good thing for a second grader to be showing a show and tell how to blow up your friends." So, my mom got on to my dad for that, but I remember it because it was great. I thought it was awesome. So, I got in trouble for things like that, but you know, when you have a great dad or a mom that's very interactive with you, you learn a lot of things like that. And I've never had to build a bomb, but if I had to, I think I could do it.
Cool.
A
The other
bomb.
part of the other part of the guns I didn't like was that they didn't work. Like half the guns that they made for the props failed. Like
Mhm.
when they have the scenes where you show all the guys up with guns, like if you can watch closely, the guns like half of them to two-thirds aren't shooting globs. They're just like stuck in the mechanism. So they had to. I had extra
Well,
stuff
they were
off.
like prop guns.
Yeah,
Just some of the kids who had guns that actually shot dough. And then the other ones just had guns so they could be walking around looking like they had a weapon.
This is a manufacturing defect. This was not intended to be failing prop guns. They were all supposed to flirt a globule of flour and stuff in a little
Mhm.
gel pouch. They were all designed to do that. This was the intention, but because of the the budget being less than $1 million, this is where the budget failed them. That's the worst part about the movie. For me, that's like what drags it down to 71. Like,
yes, that's Bruce though. I mean, if it comes down to the weapon, they're not carrying it properly, or they don't load it properly, or anything.
Sorry.
That didn't bother me at all. I mean, I just loved it. I thought that they were all adorable, like the kid who climbs through the window and drops his gun, or through the door, the broken door, and that's the reason why they had to off him. But I just thought it was just really cute. I just loved it.
The original series Super Soakers, those were the ones that we the first year those got brought out, Warrensburg Latham outlawed those, and they wouldn't let us, like, for the longest time, like, they were pretty much okay with water guns being brought to school because, like, at summertime, yeah, go ahead and cool each other off, as long as it's just water that you're filling up, that's all that matters. But with the Super Soakers, like, one of the teachers got hit in the eye, and she had difficulty for like a half hour or so. Like, well, there goes that joy we had. But,
yeah, I wasn't smart enough to have a water pistol. I remember sitting in class about halfway back in science, and I have straws that I had taken from the back when they made good straws, that you could use over and over again, and putting spit wads in them and shooting them up, and they'd go flying past his head and stick to this chalkboard. And a couple times I had to go to the office, and they make us get licks, is what they called it. We had to grab your ankles, and the principal would smack you on the butt 3 times with a paddle, and you had to have another teacher there to watch you get disciplined. That happened to me a few times.
I can't imagine
shooting spit wads.
that only carries into today, of course. Janet,
I couldn't hear you.
Person.
I could barely hear you. You need to get closer to your mic.
Sorry, Janet's being a rambunctious person. I can't see her doing that at all.
I did it.
Flady, I really like it that you brought this to our attention tonight. This movie was great. This had some really good wholesome parts to it. There's some things that, of course, I'm going to nitpick on, but this is a good film. This is a movie that we don't see a class like this in movie making anymore, and that's just a shame. I really wish that this movie had an audience today that would be awakened to it. This would be great for them to re-release instead of seeing crappy Disney movies that talk about pronouns and other shit that will not matter in the future in the long run. This is the type of film that should be put back in drive-thrus and drive-ins and large auditoriums, because I could see this movie selling quite a bit very well. I could see the lunch crowd on Sunday moving to this film at 1 and 3 p.m. to watch this. Thank you, sir.
I loved it. Thank you very much.
I was kind of nervous. Was it like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
We were all hanging out. Actually, it might have been 2 weeks ago. I think it was after Kai's second episode. You started putting on the trailer, and you weren't really digging it. And I was trying to explain in the chat. I'm like, yeah, this is a kid's movie. It's a musical. You can't look at it in the same light. It'll just rot your brain. But I'm glad you liked it. Like I said, it's a family favorite for us. I guarantee you, if it was Christmas morning or whatever, my sister's kids, I don't think are big fans of it. Come on, they've never seen a 2-piece phone mounted to a wall. It's just too far removed for them. But all the adults, we'd all sit and watch it. We'd sit there and eat the Christmas breakfast and just be like we were little kids at home again. So it's like I said, I wanted to share something from my childhood, something wholesome. Like I said, the Blood for Dracula, I forgot how brutal that could be, and was a little disappointed that it didn't hold for me. That eeriness that I expected.
That movie, I really like that movie. And the more I look back on it, the more I really do like it. The only thing I didn't like was really like the ending fight because I thought Dracula would be more of a badass instead of the wuss he was. Like
Yeah, I thought it was so entertaining. Every movie that you guys, well, there's only been one movie out of all the movies that we've watched that I really wasn't really into, and that was that Meat Train movie. But all the other ones I've really enjoyed. I mean, I love getting to watch something I've never seen, which is really, surprising to me how many great movies I've gotten to watch that I never heard of because I was really surprised how good some of these movies have been. But this one was really, really good. I mean, it's just really well made. Very, very, it just made me feel like a kid again, It was so nice to be able to look at it through a child's eyes. And I loved it. I really liked it. And I recommend it for anyone who has a kid. Sit and watch it with them. I think they'd like it.
Yeah, I agree. Of course, Janet digs on Midnight Meat Train again.
But it was so bad. But it wasn't as bad as the other one. The other one was Now, I loved that one scene. My favorite scene in that Meat Train was the whole kick-ass scene with the girl in the train, in the train car.
My favorite scene of that movie was when the creatures started peeling the meat off the hanging meat hooks, which were humans, and I thought that was the best. Like, not since Rob Bottin did his amazing sleepover at the Thing production set. Not since that have I seen something just so glorious. That outdid the Jimmy scene in RoboCop, and I love the Jimmy scene. I'm going to eventually turn that into a super chat clip because, like, that's the one thing I don't do. I need to do that, and once I do that, that'll be like one of the top tier ones. Because fuck, that's just seeing Jimmy get roasted by the Ed 209 on the Metro City 1 model kit. That's perfect. That's like one of the best displays of squibs ever. And we will discuss Paul Verhoeven sci-fi at some point because that shit goes hard. Sorry. I know. I'm wanting to talk about that. Yeah, we're on Bugsy Numbers. Stop. This is a great movie. Watch it with your kids and grandkids. If you need something wholesome to cleanse your palate, this is a really good way to do that. Lady, I don't think that this was quote unquote needed after the Dracula, the Blood of Dracula film. I like the Blood of Dracula. I like that movie.
So
the more I think about it, like
Blood for Dracula. Wasn't it called that?
Great.
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't like it as much as I liked the memory of liking it.
That's exactly how I felt after I wanted Bruce to watch The Cowboy Way, because I just remember how much I loved it when I first saw it. But then when I saw it again, I was like, wow, I didn't realize how bad a movie that it was.
Oh no, Janet, I got to watch The Cowboy Way, and I really like Ernie Hudson, but Ernie Hudson pretty much kind of leads the charge of the pickup truck into the nightclub, and I'm trying not to have a head seizure right now. I'm trying not to have a nosebleed. I wish I could have nosebleeds on command. That'd be cool, because I would definitely have one when I watch shit like that. That was horrible schlock. And I want that director and scriptwriter to get them. I want them to get caned so bad. That was my low point of this entire endeavor. Me and Janet doing this on Mondays, having to watch A Cowboy Way, and afterwards regurgitate what we were thinking about that afterwards.
But you said the same thing about the one with the cowgirls.
Yeah, too. But I expected to hate that movie because I hated it when it came out. I couldn't stand the movie when it came out, and so you nominate that, and I'm like, like, you ever have like a hot pepper and it doesn't go down the right way at all?
No, I don't eat hot peppers.
Well, that's how it felt when you said that. Like, I just had a habanero and I swallowed a seed the wrong way. This is not going to be pleasant. That's how I felt when you nominate that, and I love you for it, because like usually we're gonna have a fun conversation no matter what, and that's kind of one of the big perks to this is, I just like watching The Cowboy Way again after I enjoyed it in the theaters, and then I told my parents to watch it because it was really cool, and then watching it at 47 and having my hopes and dreams of a 19-year-old man dashed recklessly against the rocks when the shipwrecks.
Mhm.
I was so sad when I watched that movie, and I'm like, did I actually say I like this movie? Can I rescind that? Can I go back in time and tell my parents not to watch it? Because I don't think they ever did. I think they saw Woody Harrelson, and he had put a bad taste in my mother's mouth because of that terrible basketball movie he did, White Men Can't Jump.
That
I
was
never
fun.
saw that one.
He's just foul mouth. He's so foul mouth in that movie. Don't you ever watch it? That's a terrible movie, Bruce. And I'm making my mother sound like a gay Jew, but that's just for you guys that are guilt enabled. I want you to understand that's what my mom did to me. She would like throw this horrible voice in my head. Listen, God hates it whenever he sees you watch movies with profanity and lots of nudity, or movies like what your Uncle George watches. Those are not good movies. And I know this sounds like pathetic, but this is what I kind of grew up with. And once I started developing my own taste on things, I'm like, I kind of like blood and gore. Conan the Barbarian's good, you know. What are you talking about, Mom? And she's like, oh no, he's gone down the path. Bruce, you want to come home and watch TCM with me? No, goddamn it, no. I mean, she will have me in front of the television with Barbara Stanwyck for 19 hours straight. And I don't have
Yeah.
a problem with Barbara Stanwyck, but like I can only take so much black and white tinny music movies. Sorry.
Well, you'll be thankful that you got to spend all that time with your mom
I know.
one day.
Six Nations asked me, Ernie Hudson and The Substitute, yay or nay? The Substitute is a good movie. Is it a great movie? I need to see it again, but I remember watching it and enjoying it. And I'm a big Ernie Hudson fan, mainly because of what he did with Ghostbusters, with what he did with The Crow, and what he did in his life after those movies as an actor, and just all the things he's kind of involved himself in. He's never been a real shithead. I don't ever remember hearing people talk about his Twitter saying, "Oh my God, cancel Ernie Hudson. He's a terrible man," or he's promoting Sean Penn movies. Cancel Ernie Hudson. I've never heard that. And if you promote Sean Penn movies, aside from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, you're a terrible person.
Sorry, I just can't with that guy.
I can't take him seriously. There was a movie called The Marksman, and I started watching it, and I saw his name on screen. I'm like, oh, fuck you. We're done. Click off. And I'm done. I can't stand Ernie. I can't stand Sean Penn. Ernie Hudson's an amazing man, and I think in all actuality, this is going to sound pretty gay, but like he's the black friend's dad you wish you had in your neighborhood. That's just how I see Ernie Hudson. For those of you that have quote unquote multicultural homes in your area, like everybody wants to have like that one house where like that dude reminds me of Ernie Hudson because fucker's cool. He comes off as a very charismatic guy. He's very pleasant in the interviews. He never gets angry at the journalist when he talks to him about his new movies or his new projects. He was never an ass. To me, he just always seemed like he was not at the top of his game, but he was just pleasant. And being pleasant is free. And so many people elect to pass that up. And there's there's something to be said about that. I just admired him for the fact that he went out there and the guy had the charisma of guys like Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, and he stood shoulder to shoulder with him in Ghostbusters, and he still became a very good Hollywood star after that. He wasn't just the one black guy in Ghostbusters. He became something much more after. So he joins that esteemed crowd of men in my head as Mean Joe Green and Fred Williamson, two other black actors that I will watch. Mean Joe Green was a sports baller, but I would watch him on interviews, and I would watch Fred Williamson do damn near anything. I think he is just a blast to watch. Now, granted, his movies suck because he has two rules. I win all the fights, and I always get the girl. So there's not a lot of the hero's journey with his stuff, but he's fun to watch at least. God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Now that I've ranted, sorry, kids.
I can say hi to Jerry. Hi, Jerry. He's on my YouTube channel. I'll say hi to him. But am I supposed to have a movie ready for this next week, or
let me check? We have an opulent set of selections here. Hold on here, Janet. Please wait. We are fixing technical difficulties.
Because I know we've had quite a few people request stuff, so I thought
today's
we'd go ahead 14th. And do their stuff.
Next week is Six Nations, 31 Kings, Dangerous Liaisons.
Okay, good.
John Malkovich.
Good one.
That's a good movie.
Excellent movie.
I love that movie too.
Good.
Glenn Close. Close. Mm-hmm.
And then the week after that, my dad suggested A Bronx Tale.
Oh,
I'm going to see if he will do it. I don't think he will, but if he wants to join us in the panel, I would be happy if he did. But I would think that we would probably get an avatar, the nipple view. You know what I'm talking about? That when you have somebody show up on StreamYard and they have no avatar, so you just get the nipple.
Yeah.
The safe for work nipple.
Send him tell him to just use a snapshot, that he's already got of your dog or something.
We'll see what we can do, but that would be something. I'll throw that to him here tomorrow. That's in 2 weeks, and I would love it if he joined us, because that, especially for the viewing of that is a fantastic film. And then in August, let's see, October 2nd, Guy and Girl movie is Waxworks. Then the week after
and we got the Goonies coming up too, don't we?
October 9th.
John's movie, The Goonies. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So we've got quite a bit of stuff here, and then in December we're going to bring on my favorite troll, Ryan Escanaba into Moonlight, and we're going to discuss this movie. And I don't know if anybody here has seen that, but that is just I
haven't seen
it. I don't like family films of the holidays, because mainly my family lives in the hellish north where cars don't move and there's white shit everywhere. But this is a very good movie, and it reminds me why I hate snow.
I love snow. I love it. I love walking in it and hearing it and eating it.
No,
I like it. I make a snowman.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
So I appreciate everybody that was here tonight. Flady, I'm kind of curious. What have you been doing as of late? Have you been discovering any new games or old games or?
Not really. We had a couple 2-week hiccup with our gaming group. People just not being able to make it. Family issues for a couple of the guys. Work for another. One guy had a poker tournament. So that's been, kind of problematic. Hopefully this weekend things will pan out. That's really it. It's been a lot of OT. I hate to say it. Although, was it Saturday or Sunday? I think it was Sunday. Crafting Gamer gave me a little crash course on how to work with OBS. Hopefully I can get that done this week. I really want to get that started. I'm just really particular when I do stuff, and if I can't get what I want, I usually wait until I can, kind of force whatever vision I have to function. It's kind of a hang up I have. I treat my computer with a rock if it doesn't do what I want. So kind of Neanderthalish on that.
It's expensive.
It's a small rock, but other than that, like I said, it's work has been work, a lot of OT, and then I catch up with you guys, Max, Geeks, whenever I can. Half the time it's just background. I really like to get in the chat, but or I've been having to call it quits early so I can get up early and do the morning OT, because we have both OT in the morning and at night.
That sucks.
Money's money.
Money's good. I'm not going to complain, but you sound like you have a hellacious schedule.
it it's pretty brutal. It's kind of self-inflicted because they've paused the mandatory overtime. However, I have an excellent supervisor, so anytime they need something, I'm going to make it happen as best I can, and it's just a thing for me. If you do for me, I'm going to try and do for you, and so it's temporary. It's a little bit of extra pain, so has to be done. That's kind of my main focus is to just try and get my gaming circle to start being routine, get ready for Big Geek Con, and just knock out whatever OT the boss needs done.
Yeah, for all the guys going to Big Geek Con, you have my blessing. I'm going to try to get one more ticket there for the guy that maybe lives close but doesn't have the extra 30 or $35 to get in the door that day. That just, there's part of me that wants to give more to that, because those guys, Joe and Randy, do quite a bit for our community, and I like what they've done. I love their store. I love the fact they give a voice to people that Drive Through RPG will basically silence. And fuck you, Drive Through RPG, and fuck you if you don't like the First Amendment. I really think that's very important, especially in today's day and age. Flady, the reason why I'm showing you my Quake 2 page on here, this just came out the 10th. I don't know if you're into first-person shooters or not. You seem like a guy that played these back in the day.
Not particularly.
Really?
It's one of the I like strategy, turn-based, so like XCOM, Masters of Orion. For live action, I like that bizarre, weird view that World of Warcraft has. I mean, you can turn World of Warcraft into a first person, but it has this altered, weird, like thirdish person. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I'm sure you've played it at least once or twice. It has a unique shifting view.
Well, I've had this in my library for over 10 years, and then just they had their 24th anniversary this last QuakeCon, which was last Thursday, and they re-released it with, like they said, a new texture pack, a new ability to play with people on PS or XCOM or Xbox or Switch. And so you can play through the whole game as it was. You can play one of the DLCs that came out, and they added another DLC for no cost. And this just updated. I was here at home on vacation, and this was one of the bright spots last week that I got a chance to fall in love with again, because I used to play this when I was 23, and I love this game.
Kind of reminded me of the old Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like basically Doom, and what was the one that was in the arcades? With the Uzi.
I can't remember.
Operation Wolf.
Operation Wolf. Yeah, I remember that. I remember Operation
they're like
Wolf.
They're like the only first-person shooters I got into.
Did you guys ever play Wolfenstein?
Lots.
Yeah, I think that's in the same genre, right?
One of the first ones I remember playing. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, during the wintertime, first-person shooters were the norm around me. I don't mind real-time strategy, but I prefer turn-based strategy if we're playing that. But I think the last time I played a TBS was what was it? Fallen Empires, which was the one I liked. And Fallen Enchantress, my bad. And that's supposedly a really good 4X game, but I haven't played anything lately, and I'm feeling the itch, but I'm not going to buy anything. I've got so many unplayed Steam games. I'm pretty happy with the collection I have yet to play. Miss Janet plays Goat Simulator sometimes.
Yeah, I wanted to play it live. If I can get someone, I'm working on trying to get someone that wants to play it with me, because there's a lot of things that I haven't been able to do because I don't have, someone to play it with me, because it's like, two people have to compete in certain areas. Yes. And I haven't been able to do any of those. It took me forever just to learn how to do a flip. So, but I can't stop laughing. It's so funny. It's a really funny game.
Yeah.
Have any of you guys ever played it?
I've watched people play it.
And it's funny. It's a fun game.
Isn't there one similar with a giraffe?
Yeah, you can win a giraffe on this game. So it's just so many tasks and things you have to compete and do to get the devil goat and the queen goat and the angel goat, all the different ones by doing different things. And it's fun. And it's no guns. That's what's good about it too. It's not a shoot 'em up one.
The gun is good. The penis is bad. I don't know if Janet got that, but I know some of you in chat just did, and some of you guys are having PTSD.
It sounded like it was from Futurama.
No, it's actually from Zardoz.
Oh, because in Futurama, there's a character that sounds like Sean Connery, and he's in there a couple times.
It's one of those movies that Sean Connery used to pay a mortgage. Like Michael Caine. Michael Caine was in Jaws 3, and he said, I've never seen the movie Jaws 3, but I've seen the house that Jaws 3 bought, and it's beautiful.
I'm a huge Michael Caine fan, but
did you like him in the Austin Powers movie?
I won't see those.
He's okay in the Austin Powers film. I like him better as a serious role, but he does have a good humorous side to him.
I loved him as in Batman. I thought he was really good.
Oh, excellent! That was Prestige.
Prestige, I thought was his best.
Yeah, that was one of the movies I picked. I just love that movie. That's one of my.
That's his best role, I think. But the movie that I really enjoyed watching him in, because I love schlock, is Harry Brown. Mm-hmm. Watching old Michael Caine beat the shit out of unruly immigrants in England, amazing. Mm-hmm. It's like we don't have.
You just like Fist of Fury.
I don't
you like to see people get the crap beat out of them.
I do. If you're a shitty person, you deserve to get hurt.
I know. That's why I knew you'd love that movie that we watched, because he got revenge. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important.
Like we have yet to watch Death Wish 3, but one of these days Janet's going to be given the blessing of seeing Chuck Bronson in his glory. Not naked, but just Chuck Bronson doing what Chuck Bronson does.
And, is it the where he gets the Wilby?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he's ex-Green Beret, but he's going and he sees his old friend for about 20 seconds before his friend dies, and his friend tells him, "Take care of all my stuff." And that's the movie. That's like his buddy gets like almost assassinated, and he wanders into his apartment as the bad guys are leaving out the window, and he sees his buddy bleeding to death, and he gets the command from his friend, like, "Take care of all my stuff." And then he gets that little Wildy gun, and that's like every time that movie was on television, the Wildy's sales would spark up. Like it could be on WGN, Channel 9 Chicago, it could be on USA, but no matter what, every time that movie was on, the Wildy would get like spec ordered every fucking time. It's an amazing film. So like Death Wish 3, an amazing movie for numerous reasons. And is it a good movie? No, it's not. Is it a fun movie to watch?
Yeah,
it's a B movie. It's a B movie.
Oh yes. It's a Canon Film Group movie, Janet. And I don't know what your opinion is of Canon Film Group, but whenever I'm feeling low, I just watch Canon Films and I get happy. It's my happy place.
But I mean, there is a place for popcorn movies. Not everything has. That's the one reason why I like. That's another reason why I like the BUGSY Malone. It doesn't take itself seriously. Like my sisters and my brother, they like Newsies. Hate Newsies.
Newsies was okay.
It first off, it's a Disney movie, which I actually appreciated Disney back then, but it takes itself so serious.
Yeah, it takes itself as that's a Shakespeare film to Disney.
And I don't know. Like I said, I'm really super picky on musicals. This one just hits the mark for me, but it's also because it's done professionally, but it doesn't take itself seriously. It still knows. I mean, if you watch it with like a pad and paper, you're gonna and mark all the references you see. You're gonna see Tom and Jerry, Looney Tunes, Little Rascals, You know, Benny Hill. I even relate the one scene where the little kid with the baseball bat reminds me of Dog Soldiers. We need someone
Yeah.
loud and fast,
Yeah.
and it's the whole get the chase so you can lock it in the building or lock it out of the
Yeah.
building. I'm like, you know, and it wouldn't shock me if they were filmed at the same place. Wasn't it Pinewood? Isn't he? That's where Hellraiser was done, right?
Pinewood. I think
Yeah.
it was Pinewood.
So like I said, not every movie has to be dramatic, serious, in depth like the original Dune. You know, you gotta have some popcorn stuff. You know, okay, fine. This is more about cotton candy and dots. You know,
Yeah.
where Dog Soldiers is definitely nachos and popcorn. You know, and so is Death Wish 3. Death Wish 3 is definitely popcorn and nacho pretzel nuggets.
Yeah,
Well, I had a good time. I liked this movie. It was great. And I just noticed I like your logo, Bruce, your little dice.
What?
Instead of the duck, your little logo there.
Yeah, that's me and Garrett. Actually, that's Garrett's design, but he's put it on here for my table breakers. It's up in the
I like it.
with you guys. That's something we've kind of got and agreed on, and when I first saw it, I thought it was great. So I'm going to keep that. But I really am looking forward to next week's show. We're going to be watching 1988's Dangerous Liaisons, which is an amazing film. Mike, if you like Malcolm McDowell, you're going to enjoy this movie. There's some other actresses in it. Watch it for the hairspray, and if you take a drink every time you see Aquanet, you're going to be completely blitzed within the first half hour. Hey, David Gall joins us. Hello, sir. How are you tonight? I know you joined right as we're shutting it down. I'm sorry, sir. Yeah, just in time for the end, sir. If you start this video at the beginning, you're going to go with a conflicted Bruce, and by the end of this video, I am praising the film. So as we go through all the things, all the discussion about the movie, you'll see the evolution of a critique as he warmly accepts something that initially he was not warm to accept. And I really hope everybody understands I can't get any more fresh on my reviews here. This is a recommend. You've got young kids. David Gall, for those of you that don't know, there's a wonderful gaming book. It's a game.
Right here.
It's something like what you guys have been playing for a while. Dungeon. Look at that. There's two of them on the screen. David's like, I got a bunch of youngins. Dude, this
will be given away at Big Geek Con.
Yeah. And
wow, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, David, you are the ideal market for the movie Bugsy Malone. And I would, Flady, can you do me a favor and post that in the Discord general and tag David? That way he has an immediate link to go and bookmark it for his use. Janet, where's your copy? She doesn't have
it. I just saw that. I was like, I don't have it yet. But I'm learning
up in there, Bruce?
a little at a time. I have this. Let's see if I get it right up here. That I'm working on.
I'm really proud of Janet for actually getting into look at all the paper she's got stuffed in there. That's a mark of a good gamer. And Janet, David says if you get the roosters,
what?
David Guile says at 22:04, if you get the roosters, I'll throw in a book as well. No, Janet, if you're going to meet up with them for the roosters, if you're going to get the chicks and the roosters, there's a book for you as well. That's
great.
And this is a really good book. This is a really good game. Like, if I wasn't already bound and determined to write my own and play my own, this would be completely plausible to run for the next 10 or 15 years. Because this is just as crunchy.
Is that what David does? Is he like a dungeon master too?
This is his.
I know, but is that what he's doing right now?
Yeah, he's
running
doing
his own
stuff.
game.
He's actually writing the second edition to this. So, I mean, this is a great book, and that's what David does. For those of you that don't know David Guile, I'll get the link in the chat for those of you that aren't quite aware of Big Geek Emporium. Hold on just a moment. We have a special guest with us tonight. Yeah, David, I recommend the movie. Flady, of course, recommended the movie. And this is a fantastic film.
It's really good if you haven't seen it before. I was very happy with it.
Janet,
and you feel like a little kid.
His daughter at conventions, David Guile's daughter, will help people out in the game, and they're discussing things after a battle, and people are like, well, great, you know, can you cast your cure light wound spells on me so I can get some sleep? And the daughter, the 9-year-old daughter, or maybe 10, she's a youngin', she pops up, she's like, hold on, we can't let you go to sleep just yet. You've got to clean your wounds. You got to disinfect everything. Otherwise, you're going to possibly lose an arm or a leg. It kind of pisses off people. But his little daughter is such a stickler for how process is. I love hearing people talk about their kids when they're gaming parents. David's no exception. He's a good dad. He's a real good dad. There's going to be
I think they would get a kick out of this movie then.
And for those of you that are still looking for a great game to run for your children, BigGeekEmporium.com, Dungeons and Delvers Core Rulebook. I linked to the PDF. This is a $17.99 version of the tome that me and Flady both own. This is the complete tome, and this is an amazing, amazing way to play a game and to craft a world for you and your friends to enjoy. My name is Bruce, and I endorse this product.
Absolutely.
Ad read over. Yeah, it's 515 pages, and his daughter's read all of them.
Well, good. She's a good daughter.
She's a very.
She loves her daddy.
It's not just she loves her daddy. I think she wants to win. That's the feeling I get when he tells stories about her. It's not just like, no, I know how my dad plays the game. We've got to keep you cleaned up and as many hit points as possible because I don't want to die.
Yeah.
And I don't think she's neutral evil. I'm just thinking that like she wants to win the game. She wants to enjoy herself at the table and not have an idiot at the table. That's the takeaway I always get. So, before we sign out for the night, is there anything else the two of you may have? Any other discussion? Anything?
Yeah, I have on Friday night. I'll have the Friday night shit show.
Sweet.
That's it, though. Nothing really else.
What do we? I know it's not completely a bridge over to there, but Janet, what is this week's topic on the Friday night shit show?
I don't know. I've been picking things out and putting them in our thing because it's all whatever crap happens this week in our crappy government. So,
yeah, that's every week.
We'll have to wait and see. But whatever happens, that's what I've been adding to it. And plus, I let everyone else put in things that that they see that we probably should talk about. So that's why it's called the shit show. Everything bad is what's we're gonna talk about, or make fun of, or laugh at.
I'll do what I can to bring some humor. I'm really just as a sneak peek for those of you that don't know who this Oliver Anthony guy is. He's the #1 music artist still right now on iTunes that I checked at 7 p.m. And he has a #1 single called "The Rich Men North of Richmond," and he did a show
talking about Washington D.C.
Yeah, and he did a show somewhere in North Carolina at basically a farmer's market, and for the first time ever, I mean, he's been playing for the past year. He's been trying to make music, and it's not been working well. And
Mhm.
I'm not trying to have you do a come to Jesus moment, okay? But 3 weeks ago, he just had one of those moments where he was at wit's end. I'm at the bottom. And he got on his knees and he's like, God, I'm drunk. I'm an alcoholic. I love drugs. Fix me. And then, like, all of a sudden, he starts writing the words to this song, and some serious, some serious words in that. A lot of people are, of course, going to like scream, oh no, it's a alt right dog whistle. But when you look at the lyrics, it's really soulful, and he might be the voice of 100 million people, 150 million people in the country. He's got an
Mhm.
international audience now because people can't get enough of this. He's right now the clickbait on YouTube. If
Mhm.
you want to make 5,000 video clicks right now, go do a reaction video to this
It's just
guy.
sad that YouTube is going to make money off of him and all his work.
I'm okay with it because I would rather the money be generated by him making
Mhm.
a song than by somebody hurting a kid.
Yep,
And
I
that,
understand that.
yeah, not wanting to subject your kids to groomer clowns is an alt-right dog whistle. I know
Mhm.
that's like the alt-right dog whistle phrase. I hear that from people, and I just, oh, can we get to violence now? And that's just the mindset that I have, and I should be more welcoming and embrace stupidity and diversity and all that crap. But this guy is a breath of fresh air. He's been putting out music. I started listening to his music while I was making breakfast today, and I'm like, this guy's got serious talent, and then
Yeah,
the
and he
change,
was making his videos on his phone.
yeah, and
So,
then if you go back through that Radio West Virginia channel that initially put him out there,
mhm.
there's a whole bunch of guys that make music like what this character did, and so he's in like a literal spot that you guys remember grunge in the 90s. Do you remember grunge in 92? Do you remember hair metal in 87? Get ready for down home man or woman with guitar singing from the pit of their heart and crying out for some answer. Get ready for that. And I'm kind of ready for this because I'll take honest music. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Viking metal. I love symphonic metal. I love metal in general. But this, like, it hit a new spot in me. And whenever I hit that algorithm on the YouTube music, which YouTube makes money off me, I'm okay with it because if I never have to watch a cartoon commercial about pronouns or a Marvel or Disney Plus uh, advertisement, I win. I don't care if I lost $10 to them. I win. And
Yeah.
I also gave $10 to Rumble.
Mhm.
But I'm more than willing to give these guys the money so I don't have to be subject to the crap. So I'll pay that money just to get the pass. But I'm saying that I'm thinking Radio West Virginia has a gold mine of talent, and we're about to be subject to it. I'm kind
Mhm.
of open to this. So I hope if you guys are listening, you
He's
want some,
self-made. That's
yeah,
the American dream, basically.
yeah,
That's
these are independent artists, just like Mr. David Guile there with his wordsmithing and his
yep.
gamology with his wife,
Yep.
which is, by the way, for anybody young, okay, I might have a video a start of my channel. When you get to my channel, there's a splash video where it says, if you're a child watching me, turn it off now. If you're an adult and your kid's watching me, you're a bad parent. If you're a kid and you want to know how to function as a good adult, I've got some good friends. Okay, I'm not a good guy. I'm not. I've said and done some horrible things, but I've got some really good friends, and thank God I've got them. David and Melissa Guile, they're good acquaintances of mine. I love seeing them in the chats. I love seeing their products. I love pimping out their stuff. They have the right idea, and the only way that this world is going to get any better is if you get your hands dirty and you raise your kid yourself. and that's what he's doing with his family. God bless him. And so many other Americans are doing that. You guys, that are still farming your children out to indoctrination centers, take your money back, take command of your home, because there's no way in hell that we're going to be able to get our way out of this. Just voting these people out of office is not going to fix it. K Street still, the corruption's still there, but you guys, you got good friends, get a hold of them, network, get wellness checks going on, and make sure you guys are staying in a healthy place. There's a lot of people out there that, David's like, try and find a local homeschooling pod. That's exactly it. Find other homeschoolers and find people that agree with you. And you're going to find out that once you start talking to other adults, they're going to be absolutely like on board with what you're wanting to do, because they don't want their kids to come out like the products that are coming out of the public education. That I don't want a kid that doesn't know how to read but knows his pronouns. That's not in the plan.
No, it shouldn't be.
Thank you for listening to me, guys. And I'm not saying anything new either, but I appreciate you giving me the podium for the moment.
That's good, but I'm just thankful to get to do this every week. I just want to say thank you to Bruce for asking me to do this in the first place. Very thankful. It's fun.
Monday's fun. Just watching you guys, talking to everyone in the chat. Monday just used to be another day. Now, Monday's work, and then, Bruce and Janet. It brings something to the day.
It's something to look forward to me. That's how I look at it. I love it.
Everybody, I thank you for being here tonight. I know that our time is a precious commodity, which we do not have an infinite amount of. And for those that have spent 1 minute or 1 hour or the whole time here with us tonight and other nights, there's not a day that goes by where I don't try to thank God for you being here, and at least listen to me ramble, rant, and scream about movies with my friend Janet and those in the panel and those in the chat. I really do thank you guys. Without you guys being here, it would be me and Janet screaming at walls.
We'd still do it, but it is nice to have all of you guys here. But thank you guys for showing up and supporting us. Thank you, Flighty, for picking such a good movie.
Thank you for having me on and enjoying it. A lot of, like I said, not everyone's always willing to give it a chance. They get the first, opening scene and they're like, no, and
I loved it. I was.
If you're not prepared for it, it gets a little, it can be a little jarring because you're expecting, something more cinematic. But yeah, it's for me, like I said, I think it's a unique work of art. And it has its issues. I mean, you can be really critical of it. But it's just, a great movie in my opinion. The best of all time. No. Is it worth a watch? Sure. If you hate it, all right, well then don't watch it twice. You know what I mean? It's
I thought it was good. I thought it was worth my time for sure.
Before we close out, we do have a request from Mr. David Guile for Flighty. If you can post
more recommendations in the Discord. Sure. Absolutely. Actually, there's one, and I'm not asking you to cover it, but when I watched it last night with you, it was bothering me. And so today I rewatched the little documentary they did, where they got some of the cast back together. And the guy, when the black kid is playing the piano and singing, which is it's the theme song, I guess that's what you would call it, that his voice was bothering the crap out of me. And then he's in the little documentary. And I'm like, I know this guy, and it's bothering me bad, and I can't figure it out. So I got annoyed and looked him up. His name's Paul Williams. And he's done a fair bit of musical writing and acting. He was in another family favorite movie of ours, The Night They Saved Christmas. It's not a regular movie. It's one of them TV movies they used to do in the 80s. And he plays Santa Claus's head elf. and it was just his voice. It was like, it's one of them things like an earworm. You get it in your head and you can't get it out. So I literally spent an hour trying to figure out who this guy was, why he, and it just so happens, these are two family movies for my family, and we'll watch them, like when the big trend of all the movies being put on DVD, our family was like, where are our movies? We're still carrying VHSs. We're getting burned DVD copies because the manufacturers just weren't interested in these movies. And, they finally have gotten around to it. But we would spend, hours either burn them ourselves or looking on eBay if they did a limited run. And it's just weird that he's in both of these movies. In this movie here, he was just, the voice. In the other movie, he plays a prominent role, and he does have a fair history. I don't know if he's British or not, but I think he might be. But
For those that don't remember, this is a Jim Maloney written movie with David Niven and Rudy Dotterman. The director was Jackie Cooper. 1984 was when it came out. This was a weird movie, but Jacqueline Smith, Art Carney, Paula Matt. Art Carney played Santa Claus.
Yep.
That was weird. And then, Jacqueline Smith was Miss Baldwin. Her husband was Paula Matt. And they're mining or blowing for oil, if I remember right, aren't they?
Yeah.
And like the husband's always talking about, there's got to be more at Site B. I think that's where it's at because I know how the shelf lays. And Santa's just like, don't you dare do any more of this because you're going to ruin what we've got at the North Pole. And like all of a sudden another tremor hits, and it's because they're using more explosives to try to do this stuff at Site A. And it's a cute little movie, but man, I didn't realize like you woke this up. And one of my favorite actors of all time, Scott Grimes, is in it. Who doesn't love Critters? Okay, but this is a classic film. I remember this.
And
this is the kind of stuff my family was into.
Is that Michael C. Hall?
Down
towards the bottom on that side, a little bit more. Right
Michael
there.
Hall.
Michael Keys. I wonder if he's related to that same Michael C. Hall. The Dexter guy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Personal details. No trivia. He's known for The Rainmaker, Sphere, and The Taming of the Shrew.
Okay.
All right.
Well, they don't look alike.
Yeah, The Sphere, don't watch. if the Sphere comes on, Sharon Stone's in it. That's about the only plus that movie has. Yeah, it's that bad, Janet. But yeah, I remember this movie really well.
But this was my family. These were the kind of things like we would watch this, and then didn't Disney owns Channel 6, right? Is that ABC?
I have no idea.
They used to have in the 80s, it was like the Disney.
They do own ABC.
And they would have like these little special mini movies that they would just make. And half of them we couldn't stand, but half of them they were just like, if we had boxes of VHS tapes of, taping stuff and, which I actually do like watching again because you can see the old commercials and it's nostalgia. You know what I mean?
So you would just tape the whole block. You would tape that block from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Pretty much, like we
watch. You can't buy a thing anymore, can you? That records shows on TV. Like you used to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of them. There was TiVo and
TiVo and
a few others. I'm sure.
Like Beta or DVD burner or whatever, where you could record.
You can still buy a DVD burner.
Yeah, you can still do that.
So you can record it right off the TV onto your DVD burner?
Yeah, if you've got it streamed through your computer.
I thought they made that like outlawed because, the stink of everybody saying, well, I don't want them to buy, like if you had Yellowstone and recorded it and put it on DVD to keep. I
was one of those kids that would sit at the radio for my favorite song so I could hit record. You know what I mean? Then forget.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear Dad yelling in the background, and I got the commercials and 4 other songs I didn't like. This is what we did. So I do truly appreciate you letting me share that. The movie. This is it. It just seemed like just a more normal time than the insanity we have now.
I know,
So
it's
that was
amazing.
it. Six Nation Kings, the wonderful world of Disney. You remember the fat kid from Goonies? You're going to be watching him soon. I can't remember his name.
Sure.
He did. It was, I want to say, 84. He was in it, or 86 maybe. It was a Disney mini movie for Channel 6, and he put like air pumps on his bike, and he could like do these crazy jumps. It was ridiculous, but we loved it.
I like
See, Tremors, Goonies, So, but I'll shut up on that. It's getting late. I do appreciate it, though, guys.
Dude,
Yeah, this was fun. It was a fun movie to get to watch, and it is fun to get to sit and watch a movie you've never seen, and the excitement of not knowing what's going to happen next, that kind of thing. I just like that. So,
hopefully, people look into it, enjoy it, share with their family. The one thing,
yeah, and if you do watch it, if anyone does watch this movie, we'd appreciate it if you'd post it in what you thought of it yourself in Bruce's Discord under the girl and the guy in the movie. That would be great.
There's a comment section that opens up after we close this out.
Oh, okay, good.
Actually, would be better because we can go to last week's show and read the comments. I would love to do that. I know we're not quite that popular. That's fine, but that's a tradition I would love to see started, and I would be more than happy to read comments. I'll read all the comments. I don't give a shit. There's 2,000 comments. Okay, well, fine. I'll set aside a Wednesday night, and I will make a video reading all through the comments. I will stay sober through the whole video and read through the comments because that you guys gave that time to me. I'll give that time back to you. I appreciate it. I really do. I think that appreciation goes both ways, and I want to make sure I show that for y'all. You guys have given me a new hobby to really embrace, and I've been doing this for a few years, and it's kind of different when you start seeing things happen. Like, hey, we had another check came in, another check came in, what? And you're like, okay, well, this is good because like now I get to show you. Here's part of my word. Here's another check for Wounded Warrior. Have fun, guys. Take care of yourselves. And then you start hearing your buddies like, what's going on, Sam? And Sam's like, I need a wellness check. And so I'm like, okay, well, live up to what you're saying, Bruce. Practice what you preach. You guys have helped me out. Like, I don't know, like if you listen to me back 2 years, I hope you hear a different Bruce today. I hope you hear a better Bruce today. Thank you, Janet, Lady, everybody in chat, Six Nations, David Guile, Travis J, 1975, great year, by the way. All of you. And those of you that haven't joined up yet and will leave chat comments later on, yeah, I'll be more than happy. Seriously.
Thank you.
We've been here for 2 hours and 43 minutes. Lady, appreciate you jumping in with us. I know that you were waiting there in chat before it all started, and we got off to a late start. But me and Janet, like I said, we had some things we had to clear air on, and wanted to make sure we okay, well, we've got this game plan, and we've got this game plan, and we got this game plan. Six Nation 31 King says, it's late. I'm ham-fisting my text. Had a blast tonight. Good show. Good to see folks in the chat. I need to refill my beverage. Peace all. Everybody.
Have a good night.
Night, everyone. Thank you.